What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Technical Fowl podcast. As always, you're joined by the three of us. I'm Jack Anderson. To my right is JP Pucylowski, and to my left is Sanders Oakley. How are we doing today, boys?
I'm doing great. Today is Tuesday. Had a good game last night. Kind of an unexpected game. Did we pick that game? Yeah, we did. And we did not cover the spread. We all
were wrong.
Yeah, it was a tough week. Did we go 1-3 as a podcast because we all picked the exact same covers?
1 and 2.
1 and 2. Thank you. 1 out of 3. And then today I taught myself how to use Adobe Premiere Pro. I made an edit of all of my videos from the Arizona State game. Posted that. I got goosebumps editing it. It was really fun. So I'm excited to try and do that with some other videos that I've shot for the Alcorn State and then the Northern Illinois game. Hope you get a lot of good material this weekend. That is TBD. That is also part of our Thursday show. So we'll save that, table that conversation. But that was really fun.
You won't get good shots anyway because your camera's always going to overheat.
No. It's going to be 15 degrees cooler this week. My boss also got me a little. My boss got me a little fan to tie to it and then just have it blow on the camera the entire pregame.
Hopefully that helps too.
I hope so.
Shout out your boss.
Yeah, she clutched up.
How are we doing, JP?
Doing well.
Not sick. I can hear it in your voice, or less sick.
Less sick. I'm doing well. Busy weeks, 2 weeks of school, but great weekend upcoming.
Cannot
great
wait.
Weekend next weekend.
Yeah.
Great weekend the following weekend.
What's the weekend after that?
Fall break.
Okay.
I'm going home, going to the casino, spending a day on the lake, spending a day with family, and then I am going to see the eventual Super Bowl champions, the Buffalo Bills, in person on Monday Night Football. So
that's awesome.
It's a pretty good run.
Yeah.
Don't really beat that.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty awesome. But 2 great weekends before then, and I'm excited for both.
Sure.
Are you going home for fall break too?
I am, yes.
I don't know. What am I supposed to do? I'm just going to be chill.
Yeah.
I may go home. We'll see.
You should.
Follow
the trend.
I'll probably just sit in my living room and just chill for a weekend.
My brother is a senior in high school, and I've yet to see him play a soccer game. So I'm sneaking up there. Hopefully he's not watching the live stream. He never does, so I'm good. I'm going to sneak up there and surprise him for a game.
That'd be crazy. Oh, man. Now you say he doesn't, but now there's a part of me that's super nervous.
No, he doesn't. He'd be probably at a game right now, to be honest,
Okay,
because it's a
huge.
Tuesday.
That's huge.
So, but yeah, hope. I'm going regardless. We'll see if it stays a surprise. He asked a girl to homecoming today, so
that's big.
Good run for my brother Creed. But yeah, I have some. I'm tasting sand this whole time because I just played sand volleyball.
Y'all lost?
We did. Brutal, but yeah, my mouth feels kind of gross. Not
Did
gonna
you play
lie.
the other
Hopefully
RUF
that
team
doesn't
that
affect
beat
too
you
hard.
once?
We lost to the team we hadn't played yet.
Okay, cool.
But anyway, it was another good week of NFL football, I would say. I enjoyed myself. Big Commanders win. Other great games, other great moments. And we're here to talk about it and then go into depth on the 3 games we predicted and talk about where we went wrong because we all went 1 for 2, not necessarily our best work. But the season's young. We're still, sussing some things out, trying to figure out what's going on. So key takeaways, y'all, from the weekend before we get into the specific games we previewed. Okay, Sanders, favorite thing from this weekend?
Yeah, let's do that.
All the special team stuff was crazy. I went in and tried. I wish I could have found the statistics. I feel like blocked field goals are very rare.
Game winners on field goals, and then there were 2 game winners on blocking field goals.
Yeah. And then there were other blocked field goals that occurred that were not game winners.
But were very consequential.
Yes, they were. Joshua Whitehead makes a great point. Jack's leg bounce should get a segment. This is the technical foul fraud.
My leg isn't bouncing today, guys. I'm going to shackle it to the coffee table.
We would literally have to tie it down. The best part, JP, did you see someone who commented on one of our TikToks and Jack was
astified disorder or something or a condition?
I don't get it.
I will say
the one I had shorts on, so it was a lot more noticeable.
Sure.
When he's wearing pants, I don't get it. But the one that the dude commented was if you have if it's a speech impediment or it's a whatever he called it, a disorder, please speak to it.
Otherwise, I'm going to cloud on you. Basically.
Otherwise, please stop. The one in shorts when he's bouncing and you can see all of his legs.
All moving.
It looks pretty bad.
I don't get asking if it's a condition because I feel like if you ask if you took a poll, like 40% of people would be like, "Yeah, my leg
I
bounces."
do it all the time. Like when I'm watching a movie, I do this. I just
Yeah.
bounce my knee like this. Or when I'm playing video games, I bounce my knee like this.
Yeah.
Specifically, only my left knee.
It's always
that
my
I
right.
guess that's a disorder.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's tough out here for us.
But yeah, that's. It would be a nice. It's crazy how it has been commented so many times. I don't think it's been a same person across any of them. So
No, not at all.
I mean, it doesn't help that it's literally right there in the center of the frame
Yeah.
on the
Yeah,
TikTok.
He did
but
ask like that he would.
He told me to move seats.
Yeah, he's like, could you not sit in the center if you're gonna keep doing it?
I almost commented, was like, I'll wear pants next time for you.
Why do you have the lighter?
Dude, I got to fidget with something.
We'll get you a fidget spinner, bro. Not the lighter. That thing is like a taser. JP, have you seen this thing? We're getting very distracted, but this thing is sick.
Oh, that's
It's
cool.
an electric lighter.
It's an
Yeah.
electric lighter. You like put it around the wick. It lights, like you can blow on it and it still works. It's very cool.
Okay. So
Let's get back
yeah.
to football.
your favorite thing was the slew
Yeah.
of field goal blocks and field goal makes for wins. That
Yeah.
was pretty electric. JP, your highlight of the
Do
weekend.
we have breaking news or something?
Well, yeah, kind of. I just got offered Lamar Jackson
Oh, dang.
in a fantasy trade.
For who? Like, what are you giving up?
I give up Justin Herbert, Rashee Rice, and Garrett Wilson for Lamar Jackson, Brian Thomas, and Matthew Golden.
Wow.
Holy desperation.
Yeah.
This guy's 0-3, by the way. That is insane.
You're going to have to think on that one.
Yeah, that's the point of the week right now is where people are offering trades. That is okay. I got to think on that
Yeah.
one for sure.
Sure.
Last week I made and executed a perfect trade. The classic buy low, sell high. I bought Travis Etienne low in the draft, fleeced a dude for Jake Ferguson, and now I have tight end one. And Etienne did not play well last week, and he's kind of just a bench rider. So that was my highlight of the weekend. Was fantasy football was really fun. It's always fun to watch it in general, but this weekend it was specifically fun because it felt like literally every single team in the league had one of the defenses that was scoring the touchdowns.
Yeah.
One dude literally won only because the Vikings scored 32 points. The Vikings defense was the second leading scorer.
Well, you saw they had a guy, he had the first ever perfect PFF grade.
Yeah,
Like
99.9.
99.9, just insane.
Yes. So it was a great weekend of watching fantasy football. That was kind of the highlight of
Sure.
the weekend for me.
Not your Saints.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was, but like I said on Sunday show, where now you just tank. Time to tank for the Lenora Sellers. And it's going to be crazy, but I'll be cheering for
Watched him
apparently Jackson Dart in 2 weeks.
Watched a mock today. Y'all were drafting second. Y'all did take a QB. Y'all took Dante Moore, second overall.
Jesus.
Fernando Mendoza went first overall in the same mock.
Okay.
So,
Well,
that makes you feel because the guy. Yeah, that's why.
I don't want Mendoza. I guess I take Dante Moore
over Mendoza, sure. My highlight of the week, I will say, I'm now 3-0 in the couples league, so I just want to give you another shout out to Lucy for drafting a sick team
she
because
clutched
I'm
up.
just cruising right now. Despite Lad McConkey suddenly being wide receiver 3 on his team, that doesn't help. At least I picked up Quentin Johnson in that league, so
Yeah.
that's big. I think really my highlight of the week was it was a fun Commanders game in general because the Raiders are kind of in shambles right now, but the Marcus Mariota thinking he's back at Oregon trying to hurdle the guy
That
and
was really
fumbling
funny.
was pretty comical, especially looking back and realizing we won by like 20, and but it just was like brothers the backup QB rips off a run and then decides to get frisky and try and leap over a tackler and just fumbles. It was so bad, but I enjoyed it because as someone that likes college and that was like my first football love, the chaos just speaks to me. So
Yes, absolutely.
real quick, we'll answer Joshua Whitehead's question before
Yeah.
we get into other takeaways from the week. What is each member's TISM? I think we've already addressed mine. It's my uncontrollable leg shake. I'll let y'all speak for yourselves.
I don't know, like, that I have my, I would say, like, my flaw, I don't remember anything. So, like, I just have
Sure.
a terrible memory. Like, from games from the weekend, I forget stuff. We've definitely talked about these kind of things before.
I feel like that's anti-TISM because, like, I feel
Oh,
like
that's
you
a
would just
great
remember
point.
everything.
That's a great point. Yeah, I don't know what my addiction, my sitting at a computer for 12 hours a day to knock out a project. I don't know. That's probably it.
I'll allow it. JP?
He just rescinded his own trade. Holy crap.
He's definitely watching, and he realized he's getting.
I don't think
I'm
he's
kidding, I'm
watching.
kidding.
But, okay, I guess I waited too long. I'll offer him the same trade here and after the pod and see if that gets going. I'd say mine is remembering a ton.
Sure.
I have a unique ability, I feel at least, that I can take in a ton of information. Specific for right now, it's specifically in the sports world, and I can just log it.
Yeah.
You can tell me that someone's left guard got hurt. I could see that someone's left guard got hurt while watching Red Zone, and I just remember that.
What's his name?
That was just an obscure
Okay.
example.
Yeah, not
Obscure
someone in
example,
specific.
but that's the kind of thing. Like if you asked me for it, I would know.
Yeah.
I could tell you what happened. So I would take that for my specific
I would agree.
tism. But I also have the leg bounce too, and I've noticed I'm doing it a lot right now as well.
Yeah.
I would agree. I've seen that especially like in Angle Ball, like a game will wrap up and we'll like be talking about plays and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I remember I scored a point at some point. I don't know when or how many, and you'd be like, yeah, I had 6, 2 were from there, 1 was from there, 1 was with this person guarding me. I'm like, I think I scored. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, that's.
You got to lock in, Sanders. That's
I
how you
have
get
that
better.
playing as well.
Yeah.
I've noticed. I can just recall the scenario and what exactly was going on. LeBron has that kind of thing. He's specifically done that.
I think
Where-
I think. I've
And
seen
then
the
also
interview.
you can like Sean McVay has the unique ability, along with Kyle Shanahan, where they literally remember the specific play call they made 3 years ago, week 4, 2nd and 8. It was a 1-yard rush, but they remember the play call.
That's crazy.
That's a specific kind of tism. If you've never seen that, go watch Sean McVay do that.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
The LeBron JJ Redick podcast is a
Yes,
great example too.
That's what I
'cause
was thinking about.
LeBron has ran so many plays in his
Mhm.
life, and it just doesn't matter. He can just queue up whatever, and it's part of the reason he's so great. With that being said, though, other takeaways from the weekend. We talked about what our favorite thing was. Anything else that stuck out?
I'll
Key
tell you.
injuries. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, injuries, Nick Bosa towards
Yeah.
ACL, Najee Harris popped his Achilles.
Yeah.
Those are really the two that kind of stood out specifically. You had quarterbacks that didn't play, and Jaden Daniels. J.J. McCarthy is not going to play until after they get home from the international stint where the Vikings are in Ireland and then in London the next 2 weeks. Unlike how the Jaguars in the past have done that 2 weeks in a row, it's the Vikings this year. They play in Ireland at 8:30 on Sunday against the Steelers, and then they'll play the Browns.
James Conner,
Ankle
Ankle injury.
Ankle injury.
CeeDee Lamb, ankle injury.
CeeDee Lamb somehow didn't break his leg.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That kind of didn't make any sense. He's supposed to miss maybe. He's not doubtful already for this weekend, and I'd say he misses probably 2 to 3 weeks there.
Did you see the Jerry Jones interview where he was like, we could package some of the Packers picks for like
An elite player.
an elite player, and it's like, well,
Interesting.
seems like you're working backwards there.
Yeah,
But-
I don't like that. I would just take the picks, Jerry.
At
and
this point, you have to.
I'd play one more year of Dak, and then I'd spend one of my picks on a quarterback. One of my 4 first-round picks going forward. Other storylines, the Browns upset the Packers,
Yeah.
which was it was the
Did they
largest
have a blocked
upset
field?
of
Was
the
that one of the blocked
weekend.
field
They did.
goals?
Yeah.
They had a blocked field goal. Brandon McManus gets blocked.
It couldn't have been the biggest upset of the season from a spread perspective. Anyway.
It could be. It was closed at 7.5.
Okay, it closed.
So
then,
it
never mind.
was. It's not as much as you really it felt like, at least going into the game. Now if New Orleans wins this weekend, we'll obviously outdo that. The spread was 16.5, and I think it got up to
Gosh. Who'd y'all play?
17.5. We're in Buffalo.
Oh, that is
Wow.
tough.
So
did-
yeah,
Speaking of
that's
that
pretty
game,
crazy.
the Packers got to get their offensive line figured out.
Absolutely.
It's injured right now. I get that, but also the Browns' pass rush is just so phenomenal. The
Yeah.
Mason Graham
Mhm.
draft pick is looking fantastic. It makes the job easier when Myles Garrett is getting doubled basically every time.
Yeah.
Frees up some lanes for him.
He has the highest percentage of snaps being double teamed this season. But in the snaps where he is not double teamed, he has the highest sack percentage in the league.
You
this
saw the
season.
video where he beats the guy at
Yes.
the offensive lineman screams like, "Run, Jordan!"
I'm
run,
pretty sure it
Jordan!"
was. No, it's not Zach Tom. That's because Zach Tom's still hurt.
Yeah,
But yes,
yeah, it's
yes,
a great
That was
that's what I'm
play.
saying.
hilarious.
And that's allowed Mason Graham. I think I saw his going into the weekend. I don't know what he did this weekend, but he had a 46% pass rush win rate, and the average for a defensive tackle is like 5%. So that's just pretty nuts. And then like Carson Schwessinger's playing really well at linebacker. Aside from
Was
maybe
he the UCLA draft pick?
he was,
Yep.
yes. Aside from maybe the taking 2 QBs, Quishon Junkins played well. Like they
Yeah.
really look like they hit their draft
Mm-hmm.
pretty well. So shout out to them for that. But
It-
that was I was not expecting them to win that game.
It's
Yeah.
just so sad that even hitting in that draft, if they don't figure out the quarterback thing, like the floor is still just gonna be a wild card loss problem,
Right,
or
you
the
just-
ceiling is gonna be a wild
You
card
just
loss.
draft one next year and hopefully
Agreed,
you get there.
100%.
Yeah,
But you are
Um,
right.
Yeah, Joe Flacco has 2 touchdowns and 4 picks, and they have scored 13 points, 10 points, and 16 points.
He was ecstatic to win that game, though. Brody was
Yeah,
hyped on the side.
as he
That
should
could be
be.
the last game he wins as a starter.
That's
Like,
completely possible. The Colts punted, but they've only punted 1 time this entire season. Only punted once in the win over Tennessee. You had the Vikings rout of the Bengals, which was just an embarrassing performance. Buccaneers, another game-winning drive for Baker Mayfield.
I do want to shout out Aaron Glenn for dancing on the sideline. That was pretty lit.
Potential gift of
That
the
was
year
funny.
candidate. We'll see how the rest of the season goes, but that was an insane dance, and the Jets made it close, but the Buccaneers were able to get it done. The Falcons
Golly.
outgained the Panthers, were better on third down, had more first downs, won the turnover battle. No, they lost the turnover battle. Had more passing yards, obviously, more rushing yards. Bryce Young threw for, I think it was 114 passing yards. And they lost 121. They lost 30-0.
that's crazy.
That is the most Falcons game of all time.
Even just like you cut Young Hoku and the kicker that's replaced him misses his first 2 kicks of the day. And
Yes.
it's just like, man, doesn't get any worse than that.
Mike Evans goes down with a hamstring
Yes,
injury.
that was
I
another
wanted
one.
to address that.
I'm
because
afraid it's the beginning of the end for him.
Yeah, it's the exact. We talked about it at the beginning of the season, and I mean, I mocked Emeka Egbuka to Tampa Bay specifically because of Mike Evans' age and Chris Godwin's injury history. Even with the wide receiver investment they've made, and one of the McMillans in the 2nd or 3rd round last year, we pointed out that was a wide receiver room that didn't look to have long-term success in like 4 years when you kind of expect Baker to still be there slinging it. So they drafted Emeka Egbuka, Mike Evans, hamstring. He dealt with that last year too.
Yes,
Yep.
the last year's was worse
Yeah.
than this year's is the report. He's 3 to 4 weeks.
Sure.
They debated IR. The fact that he hasn't been put on IR yet today, I think indicates he won't go on IR. That really doesn't matter. It just like means the Buccaneers can't sign someone in his absence
Sure.
to fill a roster spot for the next 2 to 3 weeks. But that's not even really a thing with the 50-player rule that I don't even want to explain because that takes too long to explain. But I think they'll still be fine going forward. They
Yeah.
get 2 big tests. They host the Eagles, and then they have to go to Seattle. And then Mike Evans probably returns. Chris Godwin probably returns. McMillan could return later.
But they're also 3-0, and everyone else in the division is 1-2 or worse.
Yes.
So, like, you could lose those 2 games, and you still feel like you're sitting pretty.
Yeah, but they're also in a position where, due to playing in this poor division, if they can win 1 or 2 big games out of the division, they could
Sure.
be in the
100%.
conversation for the 1 seed. So you don't want to just like chill because it's like, oh, we're going to win our division. Like
Well, yeah.
with the team they have and the offense they have, and then also a very good defense. Like you don't want to just take the easy road. Like
Yeah.
you want to, push for that potential 1 seed because that's a big deal.
Knowing Baker, they will not be
Absolutely
chill.
not.
So.
I thought, did you see his little interview where he was like corrected the media on Tyrod Taylor's name pronunciation? That was really cool. I don't know. It just like it's like an old teammate. And he was like, well, like he would never say this, but I'll correct y'all on his behalf. That was cool. Baker Mayfield, I don't know. He's just like such a lovable, but like he's a very not controversial, but like his college career, he was very fiery and like didn't care about what anyone thought about him. And now I don't know, maybe he's mellowed a little bit, but he's fun. Lane Johnson, we'll talk about that game or him later, but
Yeah.
Eagles injury, we'll get into that later. That's all the big stuff.
Russell Wilson's been benched. Jackson Dart's been in the starter.
Good point.
Which I'm not sure if, and it's been talked about a ton, but letting him start against the Chargers defense, which has been
Huge
great,
mistake.
seems like an interesting spot to do it. I think that speaks to how not great how bad Russell Wilson was on Sunday night.
I don't think it has anything to do with Russ. Actually, I think it has to do with the fact that they're at home and they don't want to go into next week and play an entire game where the owner sees the entire fan base booing Russell Wilson and the team for 3 to 4 hours again. That looks bad for Brian Dable and the GM.
They're trying not to get fired.
Joe Shane. So that is, I think it's more so that move. But they've also spoken really highly of Jackson Dart. And the last 4 plays that Russell makes, he's not even like attempting to win the game.
No.
4th and goal, you can't make a throw like you did, where it looks like he's throwing the ball away. You can't throw the ball away on 4th down. You got to at least try to hit somebody. But I think it was, my theory is I think it's a look good in front of the home crowd, because it doesn't matter what Jackson does this weekend. With the way they were cheering on Sunday night, they're going to cheer this weekend when he plays the Chargers.
They'll be happy for a few weeks.
He could come out looking like Cam Ward, and they might not be too happy.
No. He can have a couple weeks of immunity where it doesn't matter if he plays. Now, if it's week 9.
Not Cam Ward. I meant Will Levis. I misspoke. He
Gotcha.
could come out looking like Will Levis, making bozo plays. I said the wrong Titans quarterback. Come out looking like Will Levis, and they might not be too happy.
But yeah, he'll have a couple weeks of immunity. If it's still week 9 and he's playing bad, some of the shine will have worn off. But I think that makes sense, JP. Another thing I saw, the Raiders, the Patriots, and the Chargers have the 3 worst rushing attacks in the NFL, and they're the 3 teams that drafted running backs
That's crazy.
the highest, and it's just not been great pass or run blocking for either of those 3 guys. I mean, Trayvon Henderson hasn't played a ton because he's behind Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson, which they can't stop fumbling. Play him more, please, as a fantasy owner of Trayvon Henderson. But just something to think about of, like, all those guys, like, very talented in college. I still have high hopes for them. But you got to figure out the run blocking. And then also, just because you were drafted that high, there's still, like, a learning curve to playing running back in the NFL. And Ramondre Stevenson, Antonio Gibson, they've been here, done that. They don't have to, like, make the jump. So they have a leg up. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, we can get into this more when we get to the Chargers, but the Raiders and Patriots ones make sense. The Patriots had a bad offensive line this year, invest in a first-round offensive tackle, but that's not going to, like, fix your run game. And then Henderson not getting opportunities is also going to harm that. When he's a second-round pick, you assume he's talented enough. Second round, right? He's early for a running back.
Yes.
So you assume that he's got some talent and could help that run game. Las Vegas's offensive line has not been good. Gino getting sacked. Ashton Genty's like average contact points like behind the line of scrimmage. So that's bad.
His is not the worst in the NFL, by the way.
Whose is?
Take a guess. Not one of the other rookies either.
Chuba Hubbard?
No.
Trying to think atrocious O-lines. Is it Alvin Kamara?
Mm-mm.
I mean, I don't know if they're bad.
Nope.
I know the team. I don't know.
Chase Brown.
Oh, yeah. Makes sense. And then what I was going to say is the thing about Omarion Hampton and the rookie running back is Najee Harris, before his injury, was not bad. He was averaging over 4 yards a carry.
Correct.
Hampton can't get to that 4 yards per carry mark. So not to say that's pretty indicative to me. That's very concerning as a Chargers fan. We'll get into that more later. But I feel like one of those things is not like the other, because you see a different running back have success behind that Chargers O-line, whereas in Las Vegas and New England, I think the O-line is predominantly the issue.
It's just not good all around. That's fair. Omarion Hampton will have every chance to prove he can be a great NFL running back throughout the next weeks because it's him and Hassan Haskins right now. I'd imagine they'll sign someone or bring someone in, but it's not going to be a big name. Is he officially retired?
Probably not.
I thought he did. Okay, never mind.
He was in the Cowboys 2 years ago, 2023, or was he there last year?
He was there last year.
Last year?
Sure. And people take 5 years to officially retire. You know, they're at,
Oh, there was a guy who just retired who was one of those guys, and I can't remember who it was now.
Yeah, it's
He
not,
was
gonna-
like
it's not
a
going
month
to come to
ago.
me either. Any other takeaways before we get into our 3 games?
No.
I'm good.
Cool. All right. First one we're going to talk about, the Rams go to Philadelphia. It's a big game. We all 3 picked the Rams to cover, and boy, were we right there. Rams were down 1, kicking a field goal to win it. So either way, miss it, we cover. Make it, cool, they win, and they still cover, so we're right. And the field goal gets blocked and housed. So the Eagles end up winning by 7, 26-33. Eagles win. but it's kind of a tale of two halves in general. Rams go up big in the first half, and the Eagles come out actually passing the ball in the second half. JP has it here. In the first half, Jalen Hurts was 4 of 8 passing, and in the second half, he was 17 of 24 passing. So just a complete tale of two halves. Eagles score. Well, the Rams only score 7 in the second half. I think the Eagles scored like 24 or something like that. No, not 24. Yeah, something like that in the second half. But anyway, tale of two halves. Thoughts on this game, guys?
No further questions, Your Honor. That was my first thought. You just can't doubt the Eagles anymore. There's just no reason to. They have answered the one question you had after 2 weeks was, okay, but can they throw down the ball down the field when it mattered? And I don't have it up right here with me, but there were 5 third downs in the second half. Obvious passing downs. They were like 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10. On those 5 plays, Jalen Hurts was 5 for 5 completions. All of them, of course, past the sticks. Multiple of them 20 yards down the field. So even when they knew Jalen Hurts was passing, he was able to hit guys like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. It was a tale of two halves, as you said. Like, Hurts had 8 attempts in the first half, 17 passing yards. In the second half, 24 attempts for 209 and 3 passing touchdowns. Obviously, he had the push touchdown in the first half, but he was perfect in the second half, and you just can't doubt the Eagles anymore. There's zero reason to. They are capable of doing anything and everything. They just love to do it one way, and they will always try to do it that way. But you can't doubt them anymore.
Sure.
And that is my biggest takeaway. And I don't even want to get into my other takeaways yet, because that is just something you have to sit with that, because that's the truth. It's like you just cannot doubt this team in any way anymore.
Yeah, and the defensive showing they put up. I mean, the Rams constantly were driving down the field and then would fall short. The Rams drives, you had a field goal from the Eagles 33, a field goal from the 10, a field goal from the 15, so that's 2 red zone field goals, field goal from the 28. Then I believe at the start of the fourth quarter, sometime in the second half, they turned it over on downs on the Philadelphia 46. It was a 4th and 1. They don't get it. And then later on, you have a blocked field goal from the Philly 18, another red zone field goal that you're not able to get a touchdown. And then last play of the game, Philadelphia 26, a final blocked field goal. Jordan Davis returns for a touchdown. So it's really impressive that, like, the Eagles were able to make those stops constantly. I put in my notes, bend but don't break. It's a very cliche thing. Don't want to overuse it. But, like, that's really realistically how the defense played, was they were going to, like, the Rams were going to drive. It was a great offensive game from the Rams if you don't look at, like, the last 3 plays of every drive, which was when they would stop and fall short. Otherwise, on the other, I mean, do we want to move to the other side? You have other takeaways from the Eagles offense, Rams defense?
I'll just touch on, like...
Eagles defense, Rams offense.
The no further questions, Your Honor thing. I completely agree. It was something I was very skeptical of. I think basically in every Eagles preview we've done is, like, I just can't, like, trust the passing game because, I don't know, like, we hadn't seen it yet, but we saw it this game. I will say, and I'm going to trust it from here on out, the Rams also have about the worst cornerbacks ever to cover A.J. Brown. As a Commanders fan, I watched Emmanuel Forbes try and cover A.J. Brown.
I have some notes on him if you want to hear them. It's
Go ahead.
bad. He is 12th. So when I say 12th, I'm talking about, like, at the bottom, because I don't want to be like he's 100 and something in the NFL. He is 12th among NFL cornerbacks with 3 missed tackles to 3 games. So that's 12th from the bottom. He's tied for 5th from the bottom in touchdowns allowed with 2, and then he's tied for 8th from the bottom in NFL pass rating allowed at 145.8. Those are all through 3 games. I believe he started all 3 games.
He has.
So, yeah, it's been a very tough look for Emmanuel Forbes out there getting a second chance with the Rams.
But, yeah, I loved what I saw from the passing game. I think I like the maturity I saw as well in terms, like, we're not going to panic. And not even just we're not going to panic, but being willing to flip the script in the second half and actually go out there and pass the ball instead of being like, because that was one of my fears too, of like, okay, technically, I know A.J. Brown's a good wide receiver. I know Devontae Smith's a good wide receiver. Jalen Hurts is shown that he can throw the ball deep. Maybe not the most consistent guy, but he can. But I was almost like, are they too stubborn? Are they too stuck in their ways that they'd almost rather lose a game doing just the short stuff and running Saquon Barkley than opening it up? And that showed to not be the case. I think it showed maturity and a willing to set pride aside, which I appreciate to see as well. That's just what I wanted to say on that.
Yeah, and I mean the adaptation was necessary. The Rams D-line was fantastic. They hold Barkley to 18 carries for 46 yards, which is 2.6 yards per carry. His long was 12 yards, which if your longest carry, or if you hold Saquon Barkley to a long of 12, that's a big deal when you think about all the long touchdown rushes he had last year. They get to Hurts and sack him 4 times, which is more than the Eagles allowed in weeks 1 and 2 combined. And they kind of took advantage of Lane Johnson's injury. He exits, and then Matt Pryor and Fred Johnson both come in and see playing time, and they allow, on that side of the ball, 2 of the 4 sacks on Hurts. So the Rams' defensive line was awesome, but it's like you said, the secondary just kind of got diced up, which does speak to the Eagles' ability to adapt. Otherwise, on the Rams' offensive side of the ball, we heard a report. I think we talked about it on the preview that Kyron Williams and Blake Corum would split time. I don't know if, 20 carries for Williams, 8 for Corum. I wouldn't necessarily call that splitting.
I would.
You would? It's 66,
It's on the line.
33.
It's on the line.
Yeah, it's close. But it's like 65% to 33%.
The direct quote from Sean McVay last week, we're going to go to 65-35 with Kyron and Corum.
Well, then that's exactly what it was. When I heard split, I was thinking more like a 50-50.
It was never going to be a true split. I liked what I saw from both of them, though.
Yeah, they both played well. Let's see, any other notes? The Rams in their last 12 games, excluding Week 18 where they benched their starters, are 0-3 versus the Eagles. So they lost in Week 12 of 2024 at the divisional round, and now Week 3 of 2025, and then 9-0 versus everybody else. And that includes a win over the Vikings with Sam Darnold in the playoffs, and then also a Week 14 upset against the Buffalo Bills. So it's kind of their kryptonite, playing the Eagles.
Which is crazy because I think they've played some of the best games against the Eagles.
Yeah.
Even like in their playoff matchup, it was right down to the wire. They just needed the one stop or whatever. But they haven't got the job done. But even still, like, if I'm the Eagles, this isn't necessarily one of the teams I would prefer to see in the playoffs again at all because of the running backs. And Matt Stafford continues to deal, and Puka and Devontae Adams is just such a good duo. I think Puka's kind of even taken another step up this year, and he's just being so productive. He's getting open. They're utilizing him in different ways now. It's just like I would not want to see this team at all.
I think the Rams and the Bucks both belong in that same tier of that's not a team you want to face. They could absolutely go out and beat the Bills or the Eagles, or I'm gonna say the Chiefs are still in that upper tier just because they have Patrick Mahomes. They can go out and beat any of those teams any given Sunday. There are definitely a lot of teams you would rather face than them. So I'd say they're probably they're like at the top of that second tier just because of the high end play you can see from them. They're a great roster, great team.
Sure.
I thought Stafford was excellent. Besides the pick on the first drive, besides that, he was perfect. I thought for most of the game, not really missing a ton of opportunities. They missed the 4th down in the second half, but really other than that, he did what all you could do. He led the team down the field twice, and they had field goals blocked both times. So on the Rams side, I think the takeaway for me was, it happens.
Yeah.
That's just a tough loss.
On the road too.
You have to think how the Falcons probably felt after the Buccaneers lost. Penix did his job, got them all the way down the field. You missed the field goal. That's why football is such a great game. It's a team game. Everyone's involved. It's not just the quarterbacks. But I thought Stafford was great. Puka was great. And I do think they feel confident about playing the Eagles and potentially getting to play the Eagles again. But I don't think they would beat the Eagles. I think the Eagles own them. I think that is how it just is. The Eagles are better than the Rams when they are the two teams on the football field, and they've shown that.
Well, who are the Eagles not really better than right now?
I think it's different because I think the Buccaneers feel great about playing the Eagles, and they should. They probably will this weekend. They beat them both of the last 2 times that they've played. Now, both of those were in Tampa Bay. It'll be in Tampa Bay again on Sunday. but you think of the playoff game 2 years ago, the Bucks were not scared of an Eagles team, dominated them, and the same goes for when they played them 2 years ago in the regular season. The Bucks don't fear the Eagles. There's no leg up there, and I don't think the Rams fear them, but you haven't beat them yet. And until you do that, I think I just would continue to side with Philly. I am going to make the case later, though, that I think the Bucks is a team that you would never bet against, just because with the way Baker plays and that team plays, especially in the big moments. But I think the Eagles just own the Rams, and that's just how that goes. Just like the Chiefs own the Bills, that's just how that goes. The Bills don't fear Kansas City, but they haven't beat them. If you think draw it to college football, Tennessee and Georgia. Tennessee doesn't fear Georgia. They clearly didn't that Saturday, but they haven't beat them yet. And until that happens, you just have to continue to side with Georgia. And I think it's the same here with Philly. Philly is just better than the Rams every time they play on the field, and it doesn't really matter how it goes. And the Eagles have now done it in a multitude of ways. In the playoff game last year, it was running the football. Saquon ran for 200. Jalen ran for 70. And then this past Sunday, it was in a comeback fashion, throwing the football.
Yeah.
The Eagles just own the Rams right now. I think that's the takeaway.
Sure.
Going forward, Eagles have to throw the ball more. You just have to make that something you do more, because you're hurting Saquon straight up, and that's your best weapon when you're not throwing the ball. Through the first 2 games, actually the first 2.5 games, through the first half as well of the Rams game, Jalen Hurts had attempted 7 passes past the sticks, 10 yards or more down the field. In the second half, he attempted 8. You have to get that incorporated more. You have to take these downfield shots. If you're going to have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, involve them, and that will lessen the amount of guys in the box. It makes the safeties play deeper. And now Saquon in those long runs, which was the best weapon of the Eagles team last year, becomes a natural weapon again. So for Saquon's sake, I think they need to start throwing the ball more.
Sure.
You've just proven to your I think they knew they could do it. But for whatever damn reason, they're just too stubborn, and they haven't been doing it until they needed to do it. Do it more. I don't understand the tendency of continuing to run the ball, even if it is the way they've just won so many games. And incorporate the pass more and allow Saquon to cook. Because right now he's not producing because he's playing against 8 guys in the box, and he's being hit in the backfield, and he's having to break 2-3 tackles every single time. So going forward, I would love to see that more from Philly. On their defensive side, though, I don't know if they've answered their defensive questions. The Chiefs didn't necessarily got what they wanted, but I think we've got a really bad Chiefs offense straight up, and that's something we can talk about later. But the Rams kind of got what they wanted. They just didn't convert. As Sanders was saying, 2 red zone field goals. They attempted another one that was blocked. That's just not something. If one of those field goals is a touchdown, the Rams win this game. So they need to answer still defensively, although the defense kind of won them the game in the second half.
Yeah. Another slight twist on the game, the tush push, where Jalen Hurts kind of fumbles the ball. Not actually, but that'll be something I'll be interested to watch for going forward. Because the way the tush push works is it's multiple surges of it's the initial surge and then the running back hits the pile and stuff like that. So the forward progress continues for a while, and he's trying to extend that ball. I feel like it was kind of a frustrating, the offense gets it both ways because he's still going forward, but the refs are like, oh, no, he's got the first down. We're going to call forward progress. He's still moving forward. Arguably could have been a fumble because he's on top of bodies. I'll be interested to see if more defensive linemen are trying to rip the ball out of his hands, keep him, maybe there's an argument to you'd try and pull him forward by the ball and rip it out. That'll be something to watch. But I thought that was an interesting call by the refs. I didn't really see the replay to know if he was truly stopped. I thought he was still moving.
I thought it was a flex, and at the same time insanely risky to do what Jalen did, but to have the confidence to reach the ball out there, because it's not it's when it's on the goal line where if you just cross the plane, it's a touchdown. the ball's still live for a while, and he just reaches it out there with two paws, and the Rams just couldn't take it from him until the whistle was blown, and he eventually gave it up. So I thought that was a kind of a flex. I don't hope to continue to see that. But tush push wise, they false started twice and they didn't call it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
I will say the
Didn't your
one
Saints try and get called for a false start?
we've been called for a false start
Yeah.
twice running the tush push this year.
there was one I saw that in slow motion looked like a false start, but in real time, I genuinely don't think it looked like a false start.
Sure.
I think that is
There
just
was one that was egregious.
right.
though.
There definitely was one, but there was one I saw that people were like, this is a false start, but it was like slowed down to like 2 frames a second, and I'm
Hey,
like,
by the
that-
letter of the law, it's a false start.
yes, that is fair, but
It angers me
yeah,
because
Same.
if you're going to come out and say that we're going to officiate it differently and you just don't call the one that's egregious. But in Seattle, refs can call it perfectly for the Saints. I mean, come on. What are we doing here? If this happens again for another week, it's
JP's going to take to the street.
it's genuinely angry. It happened in the Cardinals game for the Saints week 1. We ran the tush push, and they called a damn false start. And it happened again in Seattle. It's just, how can the officials in the Eagles game not understand that and make that call correctly? That going forward is, it needs to actually happen. If
Yeah.
you're going to say it's going to
Fair.
happen, it better happen.
I completely agree.
Another tush push thing. The Buccaneers signed
yep,
the fat Florida
Yep.
defensive tackle,
Desmond Watson?
Watson.
Yeah.
D. Watson. I forgot what his first name is. It might be Desmond. He's on the practice squad. He's not on the official roster yet. But the fact that they haven't put Mike Evans on IR, it would have opened up the spot for him, which is another thing that confuses me there. But I expect them to actually sign him to the team and on the roster and use him for the tush push. And that'll be cinema.
yeah. They've already got Vita Vea in there, who's been
Vita Vea
is
and Watson,
phenomenal.
like-
No, I agree.
Who's pushing
I think-
that?
How are you moving that?
I wonder if the Eagles' counter to that would be to not sub pre-tush push, and so you don't get an opportunity to bring
Sure.
Watson in. But that will be even if they don't,
Or
then it'll be
go no huddle if they were to pick up a first down.
right. It'll be exactly, and then you keep him on the field. It will be cinema to see how the mind games if Watson ends up on the game day roster.
I think it would be like Bucks would use it in a goal line situation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Goal
So,
line or like game almost over. Like
Yes.
we have to get this stop
so that'll be definitely interesting to watch.
for sure.
Any other?
No.
I also think maybe because the Eagles have shown it before, but they haven't shown it this season. They'll eventually pull out the counter of Hurts goes for it, but he pitches it to Saquon, or they run a pop pass over the top.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that yet, and I think we'll see that eventually, and that could happen this weekend as well.
Yeah.
With Tershawn Wharton. Not Tershawn Wharton. That's the former Chiefs defensive tackle who's been cut. Desmond Watson.
Cool.
But that's kind of it for
Bet.
takeaways. I feel less. I actually feel the same about the Rams as I did. I still think they're one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah.
But like I said, no further questions, Your Honor.
Yeah, I feel more comfortable about them as my pick to win the NFC West after that game.
Yes.
Feel a lot less comfortable about the 49ers after the
They're just
Bosa.
they're
ACL
snake
tear.
bitten. The injuries are gonna always hit them. The player too old at this point, too many miles. Another divisional matchup for the Chiefs. Third in 3 weeks. They've now played every
Broncos
other team.
or Chargers, not the Chiefs. We
Ah,
both
yeah.
just botched it.
Well done. I'm just gonna restart.
Yeah.
Third straight divisional matchup for the Chargers. They've now played every other team in their division once, and they've won all three, this time against the Broncos at home. Kind of an interesting game. The Chargers felt like they dominated the first half, but just didn't really execute in key moments, and then they blow coverage at the end of the half to give up a touchdown. And then it's a J.K. Dobbins revenge drive right out of halftime, and suddenly they're losing. And then the offensive line injuries start piling up, and they can't protect Justin Herbert. And it kind of feels like, oh, maybe the Broncos are going to steal this game, even though it kind of feels like they've been outplayed. Then Justin Herbert comes through. He's trying to establish this clutch narrative for himself. They score the touchdown to tie it. Defense comes up with the stop. They drive down, and they actually get their field goal off, unlike some other teams this week, and they win 23-20. Sanders, I'm going to go to you first as a Chargers fan. Your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, well, after having watched all the noon kickoff blocked field goals. I cannot tell you how nervous I was sitting here waiting for the game-winning field goal, because it's like you just start to like see it in your head, and that's all you can imagine is that it's going to get blocked. When in reality, those blocked field goals are few and far between. Couple of big takeaways. I mean, the Chargers did look good for a lot of the game, and then as Tucker pointed out a couple weeks ago, when they get shut down in the second half, it's kind of crazy how the last 2-minute drill, they come out and the offense just says, I mean, we can't be stopped. And you see that in the NFL. We see it every weekend, which is very impressive and speaks to the level that they play at. The Najee Harris injury is really, really unfortunate. He's been our best running back through 3 games, averaged 4.7 yards a carry Sunday, and then had an 82.8 offensive grade from PFF prior to his injury. Immediately we watched it. I didn't realize what happened. I thought he tripped, and you're over here going, oh no. I'm like, what happened? I thought he just like tripped, and then Justin Herbert was like stepping over him, so he just like went into the fetal position to so he didn't trip him.
Sure.
And then I saw the replay. Man, that Achilles, maybe it's just recency bias, but the angle from behind, it's like the worst I think I've seen. I know there were some bad ones in the NBA. And I feel like Achilles injuries are all pretty level as far as like severity. Your Achilles is snap, but like visually, man, that thing like made me a little sick to my stomach. The wide receivers looked really good. It's unfortunate for those of y'all for you who's invested in Ladd McConkey, but I like not having to be the main guy. Not because I don't like. I would love for him to be better, like more involved than he is, but the fact that I think he's good and he's not involved means that we have other guys who kind of like improved and surpassed him, which is not a bad thing.
AKA Aronde Gadsden.
Yeah, and then also Quentin Johnston finding his hands is huge. So it's like I'm not too upset about him not being as involved this year, because I don't think it's a regression from him. I think it's an improvement from other positions, bringing back Keenan Allen and him.
I think it'll balance out some too.
Yeah, and then absolutely the Aronde Gadsden breakout game was kind of crazy. 5 receptions, 46 yards. Quentin Johnston had 6 receptions for 89 yards. He had the one which I've pointed this out for quarterbacks, like hits, and now this. He gets hit, he gets wrapped up, and he gets backed up 2 yards, and then the defender just kind of lets him go. Because in my opinion, we've gotten to the point in the NFL where you have to like toe the line between getting you might get a flag if you throw him to the ground at that point, trying to tackle him. And then they let him go because they backed him up for 2 or 3 yards, and they don't want to get an unnecessary roughness, and then he scrambles out for an extra 20 after the catch. I kind of hate that. Even as a Chargers fan, very grateful for the extra yardage. But I think we see it in the pocket, and now we see it, across the middle of the field where guys are pulling punches to avoid flags, and then a quarterback breaks a sack. It's like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. It's like, no, the D lineman doesn't know what to do. Like he can't hit him high, he can't hit him low, he can't drive through him. Like your target for a good tackle is so small that I think we're starting to see more and more incredible broken tackles in the pocket, because D lineman is like a half-hearted, like, I'm just going to hit you and hope you fall over.
Yeah.
And then it's like sometimes, like with Patrick Mahomes on the sideline, like a lot of the time they will just fall over. And then sometimes they're not. It's like in the big play. It's all kinds of messed up, not knowing how hard you can play defense right now. I think the Broncos got punished by it on that play, and I hate it.
I can agree with you about the in the pocket stuff and QBs on the sideline. Not so much like wide receivers out in the open. They just don't have the same level of protection. I just finished the play.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to get the flag.
I agree he should have finished the play, but also, like, I think it was pretty clearly the way he had him wrapped up and back him up. It was I think that, like, I've stopped his forward progress. The play is over.
Coaches tell you all the time, 6U, 8U, 10U, 12U, you play through the whistle, play to the whistle. You hear no whistle. Why are you stopping the play? That's just kind of my opinion on that.
No, I agree. But it's still, I think it just, like, is another example of what we're seeing on the way defenses are refereed, translating to other parts of the field. Not a big fan of seeing that. We talked about it earlier. The rookie running back struggles. Omarion Hampton not being chief among them. Chief among them, I would say, is Ashton Genty, but being up there with the best of them. He's hasn't cracked 4 yards per carry yet in a game, and he's played 3. He played well after the Najee Harris injury, but like didn't like blow you away, which is kind of what you want to see from a running back when you spend a first-round pick on him. So I'm pretty underwhelmed with him. I don't think that the offensive line is entirely the problem. I get that, like, it's definitely not the best run-blocking offensive line, and then losing, was it not Joe. Was it Joe Alt or the other one? I can't remember off the top of my head.
Rashawn Slater's
Rashawn
gone.
Slater and Joe Alt is
And
so
then Mekhi
losing-
Becton got hurt in that
yeah,
game as
poked
well.
in the eye. So would love to see better play from a running back when you spend a first-round pick on him. But I do think that the passing offense is good enough that that's not going to hinder us too much. Now, if the passing offense falters, it could become problematic. But would love to see more from him there. But, yeah, those are, like, the big things.
Sure.
JP?
I think you're being way too pessimistic of your own team, honestly. I thought the Chargers played excellent, and it was, I think, an incredible showing of another way this team can win football games. Herbert was great, 300 passing yards. That they're passing the ball so much. He attempts 47 passes in this game, and I think that's more of, if there's anything to be concerned about, it's that we're attempting so many passes. But as about 20% of NFL fans, and then the extra 1% that are Chargers fans, you trust Justin Herbert to do that. You think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and so you trust him to throw the ball 47 times. And with the lack of turnovers he's had in the regular season over the past few years, you're not worried about him turning the ball over in big spots. I thought Amari Hampton was actually pretty good. The production he got both in the receiving and in the rushing game I thought was good, and I think it's something good to look at going forward. You got to remember it's his third NFL football game.
I think the biggest thing for him right now is I'm not sure they fully trust him to like do everything. Everything's pretty vanilla with him, and that's going to limit him somewhat. But yeah, you continue.
Yeah, I completely agree. The weapons that apparently Justin Herbert has, that is like that's the flashing red light of, oh my God, we've got what we need, because the defense has been insane.
Yeah.
They forced 5. I think the Broncos had 4 or 5 3-and-outs or they had 6 3-and-outs in the game. I think 4 or 5 in the first half. So just shutting down Bo Nix and Sean Payton in that offense, that's like when your defense playing that well, and then the weapons they're providing as they are. I know the Chargers only won by 3, but it felt like they won by way more than that. Like the fact that the Broncos were even this close in the game is such a great statement of how good that defense is, and how well they pressure the quarterback. I wish they were all over Herbert, but Herbert, getting sacked, that means just more yardage for him to get, I guess. So it helps him statistically. But I think you're being too pessimistic. I thought that was an excellent performance. And then Amari Hampton's going to get there. He pretty much stayed healthy outside of Mekhi Becton getting poked in the eye, as you said. And Najee Harris, of course. But he's back at running back, and I think if there's one thing like Jim Harbaugh knows, it's running backs.
Yeah.
And so that helps you trust the Amari Hampton pick, and it also helps you trust trust that he's going to find another running back that can provide that, whether that's Hassan Haskins or a free agent.
Was
or
Haskins at Michigan?
He was
or
a
even a
running
trade,
back,
yes. So I wouldn't be that remotely worried about that going forward. Like Gus Edwards, who was on the team last year, he's a free agent right now, so they could sign Gus Edwards. He already knows the system. I'd look at that potentially if I'm a Charger, or if I'm in the Chargers organization. So I think you're being a little pessimistic about the Chargers. Thought they were really impressive. This is a game that, so I had it up there in one screen by itself, but I also was watching Red Zone. If you were watching just Red Zone on Sunday, you would have had no clue this game was really going on. I think they only got shown into like the fourth quarter because there were 7 punts in a row in the first half, 4 or 5 of those being 3-and-outs. So it's just a snooze fest of a first half. But I watched it still. But like I feel like much of the public didn't get to see how good the defenses were playing, and they must have just thought that the offenses were that bad. Go ahead.
I was going to say, the Justin Herbert throw, I didn't speak about that earlier. I don't know if you were about to get there. It was crazy.
Yes.
Watching that was awesome. It was the drive to tie it. They're down 20-13, goes down, is under pressure, rolls out to his left, and has a Charger. A Bronco. Was it
Benito. Yeah,
Benito in
it
his
was.
face, and rolling to his left, he like turns his it kind of like the Sam Levitt throw a little bit,
Yes.
where he has to like turn his body to like, and there's no hip in it. It's all
His
just
hips
Sam
arms.
Levitt
are
minus the jump.
Yeah,
his
minus
hips
the
are
jump.
facing the end zone, and he throws it behind Benito, essentially, like behind his helmet on his opposite side, and it's on the money after escaping a sack. As I texted, that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. That's just one of those
Keenan
plays.
Allen makes a great catch too.
Yes.
I mean, he's covered.
That's
Yeah.
just one of those plays that only those kind of quarterbacks can make, the athletic freaks. And Justin Herbert made that in the biggest spot in the game. So all the credit to him there.
I love the optics too of like Keenan Allen's catching in the end zone and Justin Herbert's literally like lying on his side, like facing the other end zone. So he has no clue. Like he gets that ball off, gets hit, goes down, and I'm just like I'm so curious what he's thinking in that moment. Is he like he
I
probably
bet
let
he knows he got it.
You
like,
wait.
I think
you
when
wait
it
to
leaves
hear
your hand,
the crowd roar?
crowd
Yeah.
of 30% Chargers fans cheer.
Well, when it left his hand, I'm sure he knew the pass was good. But Moss, I think, was guarding him.
yeah,
Was all like he was right there, so
Yeah.
there was no guarantee it was going to be complete. But that was a sick play. I do want to talk about the other QB in this game, Bo Nix.
Yeah.
Has struggled to start this season. Not his best showing. I think there's even a clip of him on the sidelines in this game, and he, if you can read lips, he basically is like, "I missed so many chances today," or something like that.
Yeah.
He overthrew a couple deep balls, and they were so like tantalizingly close as well, like hitting the receiver's outstretched fingertips as they're lunging for him and stuff like that. He's just not played great, in my opinion, up to this point in the season. What are y'all's thoughts on him?
He is graded out as the 36th best quarterback in the NFL, according to PFF, through 3 weeks. There have only been 36 quarterbacks that have started NFL games. He is the worst quarterback in the league, according to PFF, right now through 3 weeks. I completely agree as well. He was like he missed opportunities, of course, but on top of that, like it's just been so questioned what is going on with his offense. Like that was, I thought, supposed to, at least in the people that were making cases for the Broncos to win the division, to make the playoffs again, to be a sneaky good team in the AFC. It was on the shoulders of Bo Nix, Sean Payton. It was not on the shoulders of the defense. I didn't see a single take out there. It was like, this is a championship level defense, which it is. It was all Bo Nix, and he's, as I said, worst quarterback according to PFF. They have 6 3-and-outs against the Chargers on Sunday. That's just disappointing with the weapons that they have. Cortland Sutton gets going, but you don't involve really anybody else outside of that. Bo only completed 14 passes.
Yeah.
That's in a Sean Payton offense. That's really surprising. Sean Payton is known for high completion percentages. Drew Brees is one of the highest completing percentage quarterbacks ever, and obviously Drew is known for passing for a ton of yards. It's second, or I think he's the leading. No, he's second. He's definitely second passing yards all time. But like Evan Ingram is not involved again.
He was hurt, I believe, this game, but he's still just been not there the first couple weeks either.
R.J. Harvey, second round pick, gets 2 carries for 2 yards.
Is not being involved really whatsoever. That's a disappointing for what the hype was there, and then the level of draft pick they spent on him. And so I'm just disappointed, I think. I'm not surprised, though, because I'm not that high on Bo Nix.
Yeah.
I'm surprised with Sean Payton, though, and I'm disappointed in that with how it's gone so far this season. Maybe it's the fact that they're playing, good defenses. Titans kind of have a good defense. The Colts have been good defensively through 3 weeks. And in this game, the Chargers defense was elite. They're also like in these games too. Like the Colts one, they cheat and they would have won the game.
Yeah.
They end up giving up a field goal. This one they lose to a game-winning field goal. So the sky's not falling in Denver. But you've missed, as Bo said, you've missed 2 opportunities. You could be 3-0 right now, and you're 1-2 instead. And it's just going to be uphill from here.
Yeah, I was gonna make that exact same point because right now they've beat the Titans and it wasn't a pretty game, but it's your game one. Maybe there's some rust to knock off, and then now you've lost to the Colts by 1 in a very unfortunate manner, and then you lose to the Chargers. So now your 2 losses, not to defend the Broncos because they have made a lot of mistakes, but now your 2 losses are to 2 3-0 teams. The Chargers, who now are looking like they have one of the best defenses in the country, and the offense is just clicking. Who knows what the ceiling for that team is? And then the Colts, I feel like we don't necessarily know. I mean, they've been impressive, but also they've played the Titans and the Dolphins. So it's just we don't really know yet. What we've seen has been a little concerning with the misses. But as far as, like, they may have just played 2 really good AFC teams that we weren't expecting to be as good as they are in the Colts and Chargers.
Yeah. I think that's fair, but also, and as a thing, we love this Chargers defense, or at least I do, and so they don't give anyone any easy completion. So if this was like Bo's one bad game this season, I wouldn't be too worried. But even in our prediction, I said he was the most likely sophomore quarterback, in my opinion, to have that token sophomore slump. Now there were only so many options because some of the rookies played bad last year or barely played, so you can't really slump if you weren't good.
Yeah.
But it's just not been smooth sailing for him at all, and that really caps the ceiling of this team to being this darling team that everyone's projecting to make this jump and be markedly better than last year, to a team that I think is going to end up the way their course is right now through 3 games of the season, how they're playing, end up in a very similar spot that they did last year. And that's just going to be disappointing to a lot of people that really love this team. I mean, you were very high on this team. You almost picked them to win the division. Would you say you've been disappointed through 3 weeks?
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. So it's just not been what you want from Bo at all.
Especially when you see, like, kind of like with the Chargers, how guys have passed McConkey. The Broncos have had other guys who are playing well. Like, is it Marvin Mims or KJ Hamler? It's one of those, like, wide receivers.
Troy Franklin's played well as well.
Thank you.
Mims
so there's
was
just
good last week.
there are wide receivers that, like, they've got guys who are, like, playing well, and so it's kind of like, well, why can't the guys who played well last year be playing well at the same like, I don't know. It's just like a really disappointing outcome of other guys taking a step forward, which is what you needed to compete in the AFC West. And instead of that elevating the play, you have other guys regressing, and now you're looking at potentially performing worse than last year. So, yeah, pretty disappointed so far.
It's also just like, I agree the offense as a whole hasn't looked great. I don't think it's all on Bo. And then they just continually have penalty issues. Think about the leverage call that lost them the game, which it was the right call. It's not like they got cheated out of it. And they had 10 penalties in this game against the Chargers.
Yeah.
Like, they're just not playing very sound football either. And that's not, even though I wasn't as high on them as some people, I didn't expect that from them this season.
Yeah, and on Sunday, for me, like I said, 6 3-and-outs, but they were 3-and-outs in the biggest spots. The start of the game, when you need the momentum, the first 3 drives are 3-and-out. And at the end of the game, it's a 3-and-out. They get the field goal to start the fourth quarter to go up 20-13, and then 3-and-out with the ball up 7, and a 3-and-out with the ball tied at 20. Like that's what is on top of it is the most disappointing, because Sean Payton is a creative play caller, and those are the spots when you should be using your best plays. When it's the first quarter, it's your scripted 15 plays, and those are the 15 plays you've practiced in practice multiple times throughout the week, and at the end of the game. And that was a problem on Sunday. It was a problem in the Titans game, even like the just like questionable decisions at the end of the game. You're in field goal range, but you go for it on 4th down, and you throw a deep ball down the field on like 4th and 2. In the Colts game, just like a few missed opportunities in the second half to score points. But let's stop beating a dead horse. They're just not playing to the level that we're expecting,
100%.
and especially the people that have picked them to win the division or be a dark horse or whatever, they're playing nowhere close to that level. Because, like I said, all of those takes were based off of Bo Nix, year 2. And right now it's looking a lot more like Mac Jones, year 2.
Yeah.
And that is not where you want to be.
Not at all.
Last thing I'll say, the talent's still there. The defense is still so good. They have so much time to regroup and turn this thing around. But they just got to do it. Like, go do it. Who do they play next week?
Sorry, they will play the Bengals on Monday Night Football.
Go
At
win
home.
that game and then get on a roll. Anything else before we move on to our last game?
Nope.
Chargers will be in New York for a noon kickoff against Jackson Dart.
Big.
Yep. That is huge.
All right, last game we're going to break down in full is the Monday Night Football game. The Lions went to the Ravens and made a pretty big statement, in my opinion, win 38-30. Offense looked great. The defense managed to pressure Lamar Jackson 30 times and contain his legs really well outside of that. And then you got the classic Dan Campbell, balls to the wall, go for it on fourth down in a key moment, and it pays off perfectly. And they get a huge win. They're 2-1, have bounced back very nicely from kind of their embarrassing opening week loss against the Packers where everything just went bad. Thoughts on this game, guys?
Detroit's ability to now, for the second week in a row, they are explosive, but they're incredible at sustaining long drives. And on top of that, with their aggressiveness, when they're successful, they're incredible at sustaining long drives that result in touchdowns, which are the worst possible thing for the opposing team, is your defense is out there for 15 to 20 minutes of real time playing defense against all of these weapons, and then they score a touchdown at the end of it, and now the pressure flips to the opposing offense to, oh, well, we need to sustain a drive for our defense's sake. Otherwise, they're just going to continue to do that to us. And they did that last night on Monday night. The first drive of the game, 11 plays, 6 minutes off the clock, touchdown. The first drive of the second quarter, 18 plays, 98 yards, 11 minutes, touchdown. For their first drive of the third quarter, 7 plays, 4 minutes, touchdown. Their first drive of the fourth quarter, 7 plays, 96 yards, 4 minutes, touchdown. It's just they're incredible at doing that. I forgot the stat off the top of my head, but that's 2 drives at the 4-yard line and the 2-yard line that they went 96 yards, 98 yards, touchdown. That's just
You don't do that in the NFL.
it's debilitating too for the Ravens and their defense. For that to happen in your house on Monday Night Football, that's some Lions Dan Campbell football, and that was an incredible watch. And it was surprising, completely surprising that they were able to do that. And I think the biggest takeaway has to be that, like, the Lions got their mojo back. I think we can, at least for now, put the coordinator questions aside.
Agreed.
I think this just becomes the similar question for the Lions of, are they going to be able to, is their aggressiveness going to hurt them once we get to the postseason?
Because if they don't convert that 4th and 1, everyone's like, here we go again.
Yes.
Like Dan Campbell, that's why you don't go for it. But since they converted it, we're all sitting here praising it.
And then my other takeaway was the Ravens defense.
Yeah.
Brother, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Well, we're not in the second half of the season yet, so they're not going to play good yet.
But I just think it's going to be, I would be surprised, like draw to the floor if they did that again. Because what they did last year that was unbelievable to turn that defense around. And I think the biggest thing is it hurts them so much because that being your biggest issue is not good. If your biggest issue is offensively, well, you've got Lamar Jackson on your offense. That'll eventually turn around. You think Lamar could fix that? Think of like the Chiefs. Like, their biggest problem right now is their offense. Well, their offense has arguably the best quarterback of all time, Patrick Mahomes. They'll probably figure it out when it matters.
Yeah.
On the Ravens side, it's their defense. And Lamar is not going out there to play defense. He's sitting there on the bench while that's happening.
I mean, he did have a tackle, so maybe they should put him in, like, with his speed at safety.
I agree, 100%. He would be a potential demon out there. But, like, that, it's got to be concerning for the Ravens that is the problem right now.
Sure.
Again.
That was going to be one of my big questions, which I agree with you, but is like, do we think that the Ravens defense is bad and there's a lot of questions, or are we just going to be like, well, they played the Bills and the Lions, so they're really going to be okay? But even if you think that's the case, they don't care about the regular season. They care about the playoffs, and these were 2 early big litmus tests for them, and they failed both.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just cannot be happy with that at all if you're a Ravens fan. I will say, in their defense, Matabike was out.
Kyle Van Noy as well.
Yep. So they're missing a couple key pieces, but just still not really the trend you want to see. Also, Matabike, Aggie legend, Gig'em. Gotta throw that out there. And then also the Derrick Henry fumbles. Are y'all still just kind of chalking that up to bad luck?
Yeah, I think actually. So I saw someone make a great point. The first one, and then he fumbled. I think week 2.
Yes, he
unfortunate
fumbled
luck.
very early against the Browns.
I think week 3. I don't think that's bad luck. I think that's just a crazy play by one of the best D linemen in the NFL right now, in Aiden Hutchinson. An absolutely game-changing play. But it's like when you're like, if you think running back versus edge rusher, like those are two of the best in the game right now, in Derrick Henry and Aiden Hutchinson. Like Henry's not going to win every broken tackle or matchup. So Aiden Hutchinson's going to make a play, and it was unlucky, I guess, that it occurred at that time. But I don't think you can be like. I think it was just a really great edge rusher making a really great play.
I agree, it's a fantastic play. But if you watch Derrick Henry's reaction, he also knows it can't happen. Even if the play is so good, he has to almost make a better play and hold on to that football because ball security matters that much. I mean, that was generational crash out on the sidelines from him. Slams the helmet down, falls on the bench. Looks like he's in tears basically because of it.
It was genuine shock. It is it's just something that it's an insane amount of personal shame, and I completely understand how he's feeling. I've felt that when I've played sports in specific moments before. I can think on specific moments in basketball. In second grade, I am fouled with no time left on the clock. I go to the free throw line. I have 2 shots, 1 to tie, 1 to win the game. I miss both. We lose 3-2. We went 0-10. We went 0-10 that season. That was our only chance at a win.
So y'all were just like a defensive unit.
It was second grade basketball. It was
no
just
one can make a shot.
I also
we had 2 points through a 40-minute game at that point.
Yeah,
so.
y'all were just holding them. Like y'all were all defense.
Yeah, we were playing the shot clock.
Y'all were
a
Chris Jan's unit out there. Offensively, not a lot. Defensively, you were gonna shut them down.
Something to hang your hat on.
I also have experienced some of that shame. I played upwards basketball,
Mm-hmm.
and I was not very good, and so my teammates didn't pass me the ball. And so one time I was like, well, I want to play. I'm going to intercept my own team's inbound pass. And I knocked it out of bounds.
Smooth.
And I remember being in my head, I was like, well, maybe the ref will be nice and give us a second chance. And then I was like, no, it's this is a competitive sport. It's a turnover. I don't think my parents, me and my brother were both playing in upwards basketball. They got multiple courts. I think they were watching my brother at the time, so I don't think they saw it. But that is one of my all-time lows athletically, is knocking the ball out of bounds of my own teammates' hands.
I guess I can share mine then real quick.
Sure.
First year of kid pitch. No, it wasn't kid pitch. Machine pitch. I struck out every at-bat but one, which the one was a pop fly that landed a foot in front of home plate. But since it's first year of machine pitch, the catcher is back there to really shag balls and nothing else. So it lands like in first. But I cried after every strikeout, and it was from shame because, it's like I can't believe I'm that bad that I literally can't get a hit. I'm just striking out.
And I feel for Derrick, too, because that happened in week 1. And so going into week 2, he's that's all he's thinking is, I want to get through this week without fumbling. When I missed those 2 free throws, from that point on, I vowed to myself I was never going to be a bad free throw shooter.
Sure.
In 6th grade, I'm fouled with no time on the clock, shooting a 3. We're down 2. And I went 1 for 3 from the free throw line.
You're not Kyle guy.
That happens, that's when that crash out happens. And for Derrick, that's how it happened there. It is it's just an intense amount of shame for something that going into the weekend. You are trying your hardest to make sure that doesn't happen. For it to happen to you still, it's just a different kind of personal shame. And so my fear with that is that becomes a problem now. Not that he's going to fumble, but that he is less aggressive when he's running because he doesn't want to fumble. He's protecting the ball more, and protecting the ball more is great. But that's what makes him the best is he's so damn aggressive, and he's running past everybody. He's stiff-arming anyone in his way. He does not care. He's going to run through you. Most of the time, at least in the NFL, it's been he's just going to run by you. And for a guy at that size, it's diabolical.
Insane.
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't become something where he protects the ball more often than he tries to beat someone with his legs. And so that's where my fear would be with with Derrick Henry going forward. Also, like, first and goal on the 3-yard line, and you can't
Yeah,
score
that
with
was
Derrick Henry and Lamar
crazy.
Jackson.
Insane.
That was crazy.
I'm sorry, what? Like,
Yeah.
that's inexcusable.
Yeah.
Genuinely
I mean,
inexcusable.
talk about like jaw on the floor. The first time it happened, I was like, well, let's not overthink this. Derrick Henry again. They did it again. I was like, good call. All right, let's not overthink it.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry again. They did it again. I was like, that was the right call. Don't overthink it. And then they do this weird like Lamar Jackson rollout. I don't even know. It was just not.
It didn't work.
Well, it wasn't there. And it might have just been great defense by the Lions. It might have been drawn up well, but it was just better defense. It was just the play calling the first 3 times I liked. But I don't know how you don't get that with Derrick Henry.
Which I do want to pivot and give the Lions defense a ton of credits.
Absolutely.
Kelvin Shepard, their new DC, was getting hype on the sideline all game because
Yeah.
he knew that his plan he had put in place was working to perfection. It was doing exactly what he wanted to do. He basically said he didn't sleep the week before, so hopefully he can go get some rest now, putting together this game plan to get 30 pressures on Lamar, never really let him break a run.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know, to, like, get the pressure while also never break and contain is
It was-
so impressive.
It was.
Yes.
I guess they were spying him the whole time, but
Partially,
the way,
yes, but I think Lamar was holding on to it.
He got hesitant,
He was hesitant.
which he never
Yeah.
is, so that also speaks volume to the Lions'
And
defense.
He kept looking downfield, trying to find someone. He'd force some throws, and he was inaccurate because of that. And that's throughout that game, he was actually insanely accurate. He made some really
Yeah.
difficult throws, but when he was pressured like that, he became inaccurate. It's a tremendous statement from the Lions, and especially their pass rush. Aiden Hutchinson's going to win Comeback Player of the Year. Let's go.
Yeah.
I bet that.
huge.
A while ago, so I'm glad that's going to happen. But I don't even think the pass rush is the largest part of the story. The Ravens were held to 85 rushing yards.
Yep.
They were held under 100 rushing yards last week by the Cleveland Browns. That's the first time in the history of the Lamar Jackson era they have been held under 100 rushing yards through 2 straight games. That's a statement, and that's a problem for the Ravens going forward. That like these are it's just too many like concerning things for the Ravens over and over. The first and goal from the 3-yard line, you can't score. The Derrick Henry fumbles in big moments. The pass rush, getting to you. The defense can't stop anything. So it's just they're 1-2. They go to Kansas City this weekend, and
Losers 1-3,
the
which
loser
is
is
insane.
1-3. In the Ravens' case, if they lose, they don't have head-to-head tiebreaker against Kansas City or
Yeah.
Buffalo.
You're
And
almost
so they're essentially guaranteed. At best, they're the 3 seed. They're more than likely the 4 seed.
Yeah.
Because I just expect the AFC South Division winner to potentially have a better record, because if they're losing these games, they're gonna drop a few here and there as well.
Yeah.
It's just it's concerning, and it's nothing but concerns. That's my biggest takeaway.
yeah.
But I completely see the side of the Lions' positives takeaway,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't push that away either.
There is definitely both. Like, how can I trust the Ravens now in big games? Like, I simply am not until they prove me wrong.
They're
Yeah.
favored by 2.5 at Kansas City this weekend.
That's crazy, and it's not even like a Sunday. It's not even a primetime game. It's the afternoon slot. Real quick, I think we already talked about it, but I didn't really. Back to the Lions defense. I just wanted to say the feeling of, because we said it, but we didn't say, like, Lamar Jackson, when he's in the pocket and he's getting pressured by 3 or 4 guys, always seems to escape and then scramble for 5, 10, 15 yards. That's what he does. What I think the Lions did that was so impressive is every time Lamar Jackson looked like he was going to escape, there's somebody there.
Very disciplined.
Whether it's a D lineman who just like gets off his block and swipes at the feet and trips him up, it was the secondary forcing Lamar to be hesitant, but it was a constant thing of the pressure was going to get there, and then there's going to be someone there to clean it up. They were not at all ever losing containment. That was really impressive. And then real quick on the Lions offense, the play, this may have been the 4th down play I talked about earlier, but where I kind of like 99% of my confidence in their offensive coordinator was restored, was the Goff to Amon-Ra and then the pitch out to Jahmyr Gibbs. Because that was like the moment where I was like, okay, they didn't lose the creativity. We still whoever, I can't remember the new guy's name, but like we still got
I don't know
creative.
his name
Yeah,
either.
he's
he's
Morton.
the way they something like that. The way not their direct words, and not even close to a paraphrase, but the way they described him, specifically Jared Goff, is that he's an old fart. So just like not the complete opposite is what that is actual direct quote. Complete opposite of Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yes, that was creative. I don't
And it's something
think
they've
we're
been
gonna see
missing.
the same amount of creativity.
No.
The creativity that the Bears had against the Cowboys this weekend was Ben Johnson right there.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll see that with the
Probably
Lions,
not.
but that
You
is
just need
just
splashes,
something of splashes of it that they still have fun playing football.
Exactly, because you
Little
didn't see it in
sprinkles.
week 1 against the Packers. It looked very uncreative. They looked kind of miserable out there. That's a great way. They were not having fun.
Yes.
And that's shout out to the Packers for doing that to them, because now the Packers are looking more and more impressive. Even with the loss at Cleveland, they are a very good team. We saw it a little bit against Chicago, but you go, yeah, they were playing Chicago though. Like this tells us nothing about the Lions. To go into Baltimore Monday night and to do that and to have a great offensive showcase, like you said, long sustaining drives, big breakout plays by David Montgomery, a 75-yard rush touchdown where he just hits the gap and he's gone. Not touchdown.
He got
Right.
chased down.
It was chased out at the 5, and then he had a touchdown later in the game. But a big play by David Montgomery, and then like I said, the creativity of it just restores a lot of confidence in that offense to see their weapons used against what was a Super Bowl contender.
Still is.
Still is.
You look at the odds.
They're definitely not up there. They were the second. It was them and the Bills.
They
were
will be
tied.
dropping on the Pucylowski pyramid, I assume.
This
and
is
that's what really
yes,
matters.
I having seen it, I can confirm that. I think we would all assume that. But that was just a big play for me. Was that pitch where I was just like, as a deep breath for someone who picked the Lions to be good this year, of seeing the offensive coordinator dial up something fun for all that talent.
I think Dan Campbell's just such a good motivator and such a good leader in the locker room. I do need them not to have too much fun. If I see Amon-Ra shake his butt like that again,
That was crazy.
I don't know what I'll do. I may just have to turn the game off because that was nuts.
that was
one of the
something.
crazier things I've seen on a football field. Just out of nowhere, man.
Yeah, that was crazy. The last thing on that offense, 90 points through 2 weeks. Also another crazy stat of that's the most points through 2 weeks they've scored in the Dan Campbell era. More than Ben Johnson in that offense scored. So
That's crazy.
that is a huge statement that this offense is back. The mojo is back. Were they potentially playing two of the worst defenses in the league? Yeah. But
90 points in the NFL
still,
is
90
still,
points.
yeah.
That's 45 points a week. That is a statement for your offense going forward. And the Lions are back. Their mojo is back. The sky is falling in Baltimore. Baltimore goes to Kansas City this weekend. And then the Lions host the Browns this weekend.
Don't sleep on the Browns.
No,
Yeah, definitely
not.
don't sleep on the Browns.
When is the rematch with the Packers?
The rematch with the Packers
November
is going to be
27th,
November
that's-
27th. That is Thanksgiving.
Wow,
They play
that's
the
gonna
That'll be
be
fun. My younger sister's birthday.
That's cool.
90%
Almost
sure
called her
that's
my daughter,
Thanksgiving.
which I don't know where that came from. That would have been crazy. Golly.
They play Thanksgiving.
That's gonna be electric. 12 o'clock kickoff. I mean, that's one of those games that you mark on your calendar, kind of like 2019 Rams Chiefs. That's a game that I looked forward to for weeks. Same here. That's gonna be really cool. Can the Lions get revenge?
And they'll play in Kansas City in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
On Sunday Night Football. So they'll be out there. They have to go to Philly before that Packers game as well.
Sure.
They have to go to your
Another
Commanders.
another Sunday night football
Yeah, I
game.
mean, you got to watch out for the Commanders with Marcus Mariota.
But the Lions, their mojo's back. Incredible statement. I was certainly surprised.
Same.
And it capped off just a surprising weekend. But that kind of does it for our 3 big games.
Yeah, we can move into the pyramid.
Hold on, I
go
also had another question that we
Yeah.
didn't talk about in our weekly recap or whatever.
Sure.
Do we want to have a Marvin Harrison Jr. discussion, or do y'all have any quick thoughts on him? I just thought about it, and I was like, I should have brought it up earlier, but it's a really interesting conversation point right now, and it's kind of just like an abrupt change of conversation. But did y'all see his drops this weekend?
Did see his drops.
A big one. It looked like me. It looked like a 12, 13-year-old who wants to make every catch look cool, and so they jump for every catch. I did this. You could have thrown the ball at my knees, and I would jump and then reach down and grab it.
Sure.
He jumped unnecessarily, drops it, and then has the drop in the end zone I think those are both this weekend, but just unfortunate
That's what happens when you look for his hands too.
error 404.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh,
So
yes.
2 unfortunate plays by him. What are y'all's thoughts? You got rid of him in the keeper league. I have him now.
Yes, I think I made the right move. Still, just because I think running back's more of a premium in fantasy. I know Trayvon's not done much yet.
Yeah.
I think it's a confidence thing for him in a lot of ways. That was the one of the best parts of his game in college was how good his hands were. You don't you get an accident or something. Your physical ability to catch the football doesn't suddenly go away. The mental aspect of it can affect you. So I think it's a big mental thing right now. The question is, does he overcome it? Time will tell. But it's definitely not a good look and not what you want to see. And I wish the Cardinals would back him a little more personally. Throughout this whole thing, Kyler Murray, Gannon, I believe is their head coach's name, just in a press or something, be like, he's our guy, we believe in him, we're going to keep throwing him the football, he's going to turn it around and make some catches. Instead of this, Kyler Murray, it's not my job to, throw him the football.
Yeah,
crap
sometimes
like that.
the ball goes to him, but that's not my job.
Yeah, I don't need that. You're not helping him out.
Yeah.
Y'all spent a premium draft pick on him.
Yeah.
Y'all should be trying harder to make this work, and they're not.
Yeah.
And that's
I
what really
100%
frustrates
agree.
me.
It doesn't feel like they're putting him in the best position to succeed. I still think he's super talented,
Yeah.
but I do 100% agree that it's a confidence thing where he's almost like he's got the yips.
Yeah.
It's a yips thing. So, JPS, you got some stuff up over there. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I'm a Marvin Harrison Jr. Fantasy owner as well, but I have a deep enough team that I haven't had to play him. I played him week 1 when he had his best performance against the Houdat Saints, but it's been I think it's just they're not using him correctly whatsoever, and I think maybe part of that is that he's lost his confidence because of that. But last season he would run way more go routes than he would run intermediate routes where he's using what is his best talent, which is his dynamic route running, not his dynamic speed. He's not a speed threat.
No.
He's not Jamar Chase where he can beat you over the top more times than not. He's not Brennan Thompson. He is Marvin Harrison. He's going to beat you with his footwork.
Kind of like a Mike Evans.
I'm thinking of a Mike Evans. I'm thinking of I think Justin Jefferson is like that. He's just a dynamic route runner, not the speed threat that CeeDee Lamb is or Jamar Chase. But they would run him on tons of go routes, and he would just not have designed targets either. They're not running plays for him. They're running plays for Trey McBride. And for me, I think it's completely quarterback reliant. Kyler, with this size, just can't see over the top of the tackles. And so he's just not, unless he's rolling out, not going to see Marvin Harrison more often than not. That's just true. Honestly, he's probably an inch taller than me.
He's 5'9", 5'10".
5'9", 5'10".
The tackles are
day.
probably
Tackles,
6'6",
Paris
6'7".
Johnson is 6'5". His left tackle, and you have left tackles and right tackles that are 6'8" at times.
Yeah.
So he's just not gonna see over. I
he's
can't see over you.
He's
and
looking into
you're
the center of the
6'5".
numbers of his tackles.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so he just doesn't see Marvin Harrison. I think that's a big part of it. Also, Kyler loves Trey McBride, religiously. And
As
so
a Trey
he just-
McBride owner, I'm a huge fan
He
of
targets
that.
Trey McBride a ton. So I think it's just a bad fit.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a skill issue. I think I do agree.
At this
to a
point, it's
degree.
become a confidence thing, but it didn't
He
start
has
off
lost
that way.
confidence.
Yeah.
But it's just a bad fit. This might be the last year of Kyler Murray in Arizona. We'll see. I mean, they're 2-1, but with wins over the Panthers and the Saints. So who really knows at this point? Kyler is not necessarily due to come back. The Cardinals could get rid of him, and so maybe that could change something for Arizona going forward. But I just, it's disappointing. I think you expected him to. It felt like a home run of, this guy's just going to be the next Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
Instead, it's been guys like Malik Neighbors. So it's just disappointing that a guy who's the 4th pick in the draft isn't working out. And I think it's scheme fit. I think it's quarterback fit. I think those are the two
Yeah.
things.
Could you see a world where Kyler stays and Marvin Harrison leaves in in a trade?
Man, that'd be a bad look for Arizona. I
Be a
could
really
see
bad
that.
look.
Yeah.
It's crazy to draft someone in the top 10 and not get him scheme touches.
Yeah.
Makes no
But
sense.
I mean, if they're backing Kyler Murray and not Marvin Harrison Jr., and you kind of get to the point where it's not mutually beneficial to have both in the building, like I could see a world
Sure.
where Harrison Jr. is the one that gets kicked out.
The Commanders would welcome him with open
About to
arms.
say, like places he could land, Commanders would be fun. Maybe
I
the
would love him
Patriots.
in New Orleans.
Patriots.
I think
that could-
29 other teams would be like, sure, yeah, hop on board.
Yeah, about to say the only places that he maybe the Bengals. I think they could use him. But I do
Yeah.
agree that almost everywhere would take a shot with him.
The Rams.
Yeah, Rams.
Sure.
in
We'll do
division,
we'll do an entire we'll call that. We'll do a segment on it, and that way we can post it and then repost it.
Where does
in
Marvin Harrison
8
end
months
up
when
next?
it happens?
I think he's going to be a Cardinal for a while. But
I agree.
if I had to predict, he would go to the AFC. I don't think they'd keep him in conference.
Sure.
And so because of that,
I like Patriots.
I think the Patriots are a good fit. I think he goes to the Steelers.
Wow.
And
with,
then they go get their quarterback.
with DK Metcalf, and I think the Steelers quarterback next year is Kyler Murray. I actually think that.
Oh, so like
I genuinely think the Steelers quarterback next year is Kyler Murray.
Okay.
interesting. All right, hot takes. Does Cam Scadaboo have the fun CTE?
That's Joshua Whitehead. Yes, he does. The question is, how long does it stay fun?
I don't think very long. Harris texted in we have a keeper league with me and a couple of my cousins. It's like a 6-team league, not a 16-team league. There are 6 of us. Really goofy rosters, really big rosters. So you end up starting like 3 wide receivers, 3 running backs. Really fun. He texted me and said, "I think I had the 2 best rookies," and he's got Hampton, who just had a good
Yeah.
fantasy production game against the Broncos, and then he has Scadaboo. And I just don't see Scadaboo making it more than 2-3 years. I think he plays now, and people will immediately be like, he's done it his whole career. He's going to be fine. It's just how he plays. At the position that already has like the shortest lifespan at the NFL level, that is not backed by I believe that's correct. I do not have the exact numbers, but it is. They very rarely get second contracts. Like you see running backs constantly being drafted to fill the shoes of guys whose careers end very quickly. Guys like Todd Gurley, Ezekiel Elliott, who get
Big
that
water park fan.
big second contract, and then just out of nowhere something comes up, injury, or they lose a step. So running back has a lot of turnover, and so to play at that physical level at a position that already is very demanding physically, I don't think bodes well for him long term. I mean, probably not getting a second contract as a starter.
Yeah.
I mean, not that that's the case for most running backs. So I think
Sure.
that's probably
I don't care. I enjoy watching him now.
I do too.
And
I
Tyron
don't
Tracy
care
got
how
hurt,
long
so.
it lasts. I think he'll be a potential league winner going forward this year because of the Tyron Tracy injury.
Guess who has him on their team? The Bozos.
That's crazy.
Just
I
a
think
master class.
I think
in
my favorite
drafting.
part is that he wears a fullback number. He
Yeah.
wears like 44.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It just completes the look for me where I'm just like, this is perfect. Like this guy plays more with his head, like looking at the ground, just head straight ahead than he does like eyes up. And
Yeah.
he wears the fullback number 44. So pretty iconic from him.
All right, let's get on to the
Let's
pyramid.
do it. Let's do it.
But I do want to say, Harris, I'm sorry about the Detroit Tigers. He's over here bemoaning it in the chat. It's been a generational collapse. You can't get swept by the Braves. Not this year's Braves, but it happened.
Yeah,
and,
losing 10 of 11 is not 10 of your last 11 is tough.
Not the
And
first time,
And
too.
it's the Guardians' way to just somehow make the playoffs, win that division. That's why I picked them to win the division. So, with that being said, let's take a trip to the Pucylowski Pyramid.
We'll start with the teams left off. Unfortunately, we have 2 new teams that have been left off, which means 2 teams have been elevated to the pyramid. The New York Giants and the New Orleans Saints are now left off. No comment on the New Orleans Saints. I think the Giants have a chance to easily get back in, depending how Dart plays, but with the schedule, man, they may not win a game for a while, except maybe in New Orleans in 2 weeks.
Did you have them on own 17 watch at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, and I also took their unders on a bunch of their different win totals. I think I have them under 3.5 and under. I think their win total was 5.5. So I think I have both of those. Also have the Jets on both of those, and that one is looking good as well through 3 weeks, as they are 0-3 as well. But the Giants and the Saints have to be left off. The Dolphins continue to stay left off. Okay offensive performance. How is Mike McDaniel not fired yet? And in the Titans' case, they did force the Colts to punt, and so that's something to celebrate. But Brian Callahan is the worst coach potentially ever.
He's already given up play calling duties.
Potentially ever.
Do you see that?
Yeah, go ahead. If you can yap about that for 1 second, I have to find this tweet.
Yeah, it's been given to the quarterback coach, which I just like. I guess that's good, but like you gotta fire Brian Callahan. The guy's just.
Is this year 2 for him? He hasn't been
I'm
there.
not positive.
Vrabel was the head coach, I guess, before him.
It's year 2.
Okay, I
Year
thought
2.
so, but he just like from the stuff he says, how the game operates, and it being week 3, and the team already kind of looks like they don't want to be there.
Yeah.
And is week 3, like okay, if you're 1-15 and you're playing your last game, yeah, the team probably really doesn't want to be there. You can't be 0-2. You just had the first overall pick, Cam Ward, and you already just don't really look like you care that much.
Yeah.
You need to take some lessons from Dan Campbell, Brian. But it's not great. I don't think they're going to win almost any games because of that.
And then from the Dolphins, the offense, I mean, they had a close game against Buffalo in Buffalo. Is that right? It was in Buffalo?
Yes.
Yes.
Buffalo
on Thursday
favored by
night.
like 8.5, 10.5, something like that. Like it was not supposed to be a close game, and the Dolphins made it a close game, kept it a lot closer than I think I expected. I don't know about the rest of y'all.
Yeah, I wish
Go for
Tucker
it,
was
JP.
here for this, but so the Titans at the end of the first half lined up around midfield like they were going to go for it on 4th and 1. They're trying to draw the Colts offside. Colts call a timeout. They come out ready to run another play, the Titans, on 4th and 1.
So bad.
Titans call a timeout. They decide, okay, we'll kick a 57-yard field goal. After 2 straight timeouts and coming off their own timeout, they have a delay of game. Now it becomes a 62-yard field goal. They miss. Colts took over from the 48-yard line. Colts got to the 24 in 2 plays, make a field goal, take a 13-point lead going into the second half.
Yeah.
It's just
saw that
awful. And it's, again, for the Giants, they had a very similar case. They have the ball at the 40-yard line. Russell Wilson throws an arm punt for no reason. It's 6-6. They have a chance to take it 9-6 going into the second half. Arm punt for no reason gives Malik Neighbors almost no chance on a 1v1 in the end zone. Neighbors doesn't even try to play defense, but I don't know if he had really time to react.
I think he was shocked the ball came his way, to be
Yes.
honest. Like he
The
looked
Ch-
stunned in the back corner
The
there.
Chiefs get it. They come down. They kick a field goal. 6-point swing. Again, the same scenario. It's just Brian Callahan is the worst coach in the NFL, and he ain't got long. Cam Ward's gonna have a new coach.
Good.
No way he doesn't have it by the end of the year. They don't have a new interim coach, but he'll definitely have a new head coach next year. But those are the teams left off, and I've already talked too much about them. They don't deserve to be talked about this much.
Bill Belichick, future Titans head coach, after his tenure at UNC.
I
ends
doubt
quickly.
it. I insanely doubt that. It has not gotten any better with North Carolina, and they have the Clemson Tigers coming to town.
Cannot wait for that
Maybe
game.
not this Saturday, but next Saturday.
Should be on the CW.
About to say it's like the primetime ESPN game, isn't it?
Yeah.
You want to go tier 7?
Tier 7. The Bengals have to drop. Jake Browning has played 6.5 quarters of football. He has 5 interceptions. Chase Brown, through 3 games, who was being drafted around 24 in fantasy football, has 47 carries for
80-something yards.
93 yards. 47 for 93 yards. That is
Talking about Scatterboo could win you leagues. Chase Brown is losing people leagues.
less than 2 yards a carry. That's like 1.99 or something. Bengals have to drop to the bottom tier even at 2-1. What an embarrassing performance against the Vikings. Ugly. Cowboys, again, the secondary is cooked. Trayvon Diggs is just terrible. He just
Didn't
gives
y'all
up.
just extend him, or was it Deron Bland?
Deron
who
Bland.
extended?
He got paid. Trayvon Diggs got paid 2 years ago.
Yep.
They just extended Deron Bland. He is just giving up free touchdowns, I guess.
The flea flicker the Bears ran was actually so terrible, but so good because somehow Luther Burden's just that wide open.
Yep.
The pitch back traveled like 8 yards plus or something like that. It was just bad all around, and then it's a touchdown because the Cowboys are even worse. So
And Trayvon just lets Rome Odunze walk by him for whatever reason. I have to go watch that in all 22. It was just terrible. It might have been again another confusion on coverage. The same thing happened last week. Diggs gave up 2 touchdowns because it was almost like he was confused on the coverage and just refused to play what his role was. But the Cowboys are not worse than the 4 teams off the
Sure.
tiers, so they stay where they are. The Bears, the defense improved a lot, and I had reason to potentially move them up. But we need to see more consistent performance. They're 1-2.
Yeah.
That was against the Cowboys. They were great offensively, but who hasn't been against the Cowboys? The Patriots, they fumbled the ball 4 times, lost fumbles off of all 4 of those fumbles. And for whatever reason, they refused to play Travion Henderson, who has literally never fumbled ever. He did not fumble 1 time in over 350 carries in his collegiate career at Ohio State. For whatever reason, they don't want to play him. They continue to play Antonio Gibson and Stevenson. They gave up 14 points off of those fumbles. They lost 21-14 to Aaron Rodgers, who was not that great offensively in that game. Jets. Again, what is this defense? What is going on? They're giving up 340 yards per game and 31 points per game. Offense showed some life with Tyrod Taylor. They actually went from, I think it's second highest rushing percentage to that. They passed the most from a percentage standpoint this weekend with Tyrod Taylor. Justin Fields probably returns this week, though, coming off his concussion. But welcome to the pyramid, the Cleveland Browns and the Carolina Panthers, both with really, really big wins this weekend. Browns defeating arguably the best team in the league through 2 weeks in the Packers, 13-10. As I said earlier, Joe Flacco has a 2-4 touchdown interception ratio, 2 touchdowns, 4 picks through 3 games. But their defense has been elite. They're allowing just 204 yards per game. The next closest is 229 yards per game. So defense has been elite. If they could figure out something with quarterback play, this team could actually potentially make the playoffs. Will Dylan Gabriel, Shador Sanders be that? I doubt it. We'll see.
They should trade for Kirk Cousins.
They should trade for Jameis Winston.
Yeah, for real.
trade for Marcus Mariota.
Any of those would work over Joe Flacco, honestly. Carolina was outgained by 108 yards. They were worse on 3rd down. They had less first downs. Bryce Young threw for just 114 yards, and they won 30-0. I'm speechless. It's diabolical. I'll get more into that in our next tier for Tier 6, where the Falcons are now. The Falcons have dropped. This is, okay, so in our Falcons preview and even in the season preview, I told you the Falcons are going to Falcon.
Yeah.
And that's coming from a guy who was a Falcons season ticket holder. I just know how this organization works and what happens. That is the most 3 weeks of Falcons football you've ever seen.
I feel like it was almost impressive even for their standards.
Heartbreaking loss where you miss a field goal to win the game. That's Falcons 101 right there. Dominant surprise on prime time for no expected reason. What is going on? Are we actually really good? And then I don't want to say the F word, but I would say what the actual fudge just happened this Sunday. Penix was awful. It's just Raheem Morris, the things he was saying in post game. Ugh.
Well, they fixed the problem. They're bringing their OC down to the field now. That
It's
fixes
just-
every issue.
I would hate to be a Falcons fan. I'd take what's happening with the Saints any day of the week over that. The worst part, they don't have a first-round pick next year, so they better turn it around and get good because they can't even fix it in the first round in next year's draft. They have to drop. I really wanted to drop them lower, but the teams below them are not playing well enough either. The Broncos, they stay where they are, 6 3-and-outs on Sunday, as I said. Sean Payton, Bo Nix, they haven't clicked. That with all the weapons, too, they're wasting a really good defense. Cardinals, it just seems to be a reoccurring thing with Kyler and the Cardinals where they just lose. They make up ways to lose games. You have the ball. Coming out of the 2-minute warning, 3rd and 9, San Francisco has 1 timeout. At midfield, they throw the ball. Kyler isn't even close. They lose. They lose to Mac Jones. Like, you get the safety on Mac Jones with 3 minutes and 15 seconds left, and you couldn't convert off that kind of momentum. It's just they invent ways to lose, the Cardinals do. The Texans have to drop at 0-3. The offense in 3 games has scored 9-point fence, is allowing just 17 points per game. They are wasting a top 5 defense, and they have inarguably the worst offense in the league. It's insane at 0-3, and it doesn't get any easier. They play, I'm pretty sure, a really tough opponent this weekend.
Who's this? The Texans.
The Texans, if you can find that for me.
They play the Titans.
Okay,
so next weekend they play at the Ravens.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
in 2 weeks they play at the Ravens.
Yes,
so they're staring down the barrel of 1-4.
Yeah.
And they may not even win this weekend. We'll see. The Vikings move up. McCarthy's supposed to be out until Week 7 against the Eagles. And they have the Steelers and the Browns next, both overseas. I am going to ask the question right now. If Wentz is 3-0, beating the Steelers and Browns, do you keep playing Wentz?
Yes.
Yes.
I agree. They would be 5-1 at that point.
The roster
it's a win
is
now
too
roster.
Good. The roster is too good to be trying to develop a rookie quarterback when he's shown issues. Whereas if you've got a quarterback, and also it depends on what Wentz, like how Wentz plays, and that team gets to 5-1. Like if they're winning games like 14-7 on the back of elite defense, maybe take a shot with McCarthy. But if you're putting up 21, 24, 28 points a game, and Wentz is throwing a couple touchdowns, keeping it to 1 turnover a game or less, like I think you give Wentz the shot.
Agreed, 100%. That's going to be an interesting storyline.
For the sake of them, they kind of need Wentz to suck.
Why?
Like in terms of to make the decision for them and to like clear up all optics of the whole thing of like why not just re-sign Sam Darnold or whatever. Like just
because then if I assume Wentz is not on a multi-year contract or
no, he's on a 1 year.
Yeah, so then they do run to the potentially. I mean, this is this is weeks away, but like imagine they get a Sam Darnold Carson Wentz revival, and then they do the exact same thing and like sorry Wentz, we've got our guy in JJ, he's just waiting in the wings.
JJ's over there like his little mean mug.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. I can't wait to see how that plays out.
It's going to be interesting 2 weeks. We'll watch them both pre-church at 8:30 a.m. the next 2 weeks. So get up early to watch them play the Steelers and the Browns. The Raiders stay where they are. Geno has literally 0 protection, but he was actually pretty good statistically on Sunday.
Do you know?
I would argue.
Do you know who leads the NFL in passing yards so far?
Geno Smith.
He is second now. He was passed by.
Well, Russell Wilson passed him last week, I thought.
Oh, well, it's right now number 1 is Justin Herbert.
It's Justin Herbert and Geno Smith. Which
Justin Herbert at 1.
Look at that.
Geno Smith at 2, separated by 29
That's exactly
yards.
how I feel.
As someone that watched the Commanders-Raiders game, and mind you, the Commanders don't have a good pass rush. The Raiders don't have a prayer of being a consistent offense.
Yeah.
Because if you're just going to constantly get sacked or tackles for loss in the run game, you just always find the sticks.
Yeah.
You can't string together drives. Shout out Trey Tucker, though, I guess. Like, just cooking out of nowhere. But it's not a good look.
Big waiver wire ad for no reason. He's not going to produce like that. He hasn't been like that through 3 weeks. He just had a big game. Genty still has more yards after contact than yards total.
Yeah.
That has to be fixed.
That's because just to explain, he's getting hit behind line of scrimmage more often than he's getting hit past line of scrimmage.
Correct.
or on
Roughly,
average,
yeah.
his contact point is behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, we don't do-
there are plays he is making where he breaks 2 tackles immediately behind the line of scrimmage, and then there's just another guy there.
Yeah.
Jinty's not a bust. The offensive line
Yeah.
is.
Ryan Clark, you were wrong.
Yes.
Did someone say Jinty's a bust?
Ryan Clark
Many
was like,
people have said that.
I know, like, he may be okay, but, like, watching Ashton Jinty, you need your running backs to have it, and he doesn't have it, is basically what he said. And it's like, all right.
That's crazy.
He's also a bozo just in general.
He's also
He's one of
got
the worst people on
CTE.
air. So, yeah, we'll chalk it up to that.
I mean, if you go watch Ryan Clark hits,
He definitely has CTE.
the kind of hits he had back in the day, he was trying to kill people, genuinely. That gets us to tier 5. The Steelers stay where they are. Offense is simply not there, and it was not there this weekend. 193 total yards. But one of my favorite phrases from Chris Berman: a win is a win is a win is a win. And they won this weekend, so they get to stay where they are. I'd ask Jacob, and I think he'd agree. There's no way you can walk away from that game feeling ecstatic about the Steelers going forward. They, as I said, go to Ireland and will play the Vikings this Sunday at 8:30 a.m. The 49ers move up. They're 3-0. Like, you can't put that any other way. Mac Jones has 2 gutsy wins, 2 game-winning drives. But they're building an infirmary in San Francisco. Nick Bosa, ACL. Kittle, hamstring. Purdy, toe. Ayuk is still out with the ACL. CMC is due for an injury
About to
at
say,
some
it's
point.
just a matter of
With
time.
the amount of touches he's getting.
Exactly.
Trent Williams is not getting any younger. Fred Warner having to do so much. Like, that just.
Did you even say Purdy's hurt?
I did. Purdy
Okay.
with his toe injury. Like, it's just not looking good. 3-0, they've bought themselves enough wins. Maybe they can sneak into the playoffs, but I just don't think they can compete for the division with the 2 teams I have higher than them in the Rams and the Seahawks. The Jaguars move up. They're 2-1. You can't really put that any other way. If they don't choke last week by kind of some bad play calls and then being scared of Jake Browning, they're 3-0 easily. But the story of this team is not Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas Jr. It is their defense and then just their ability so far to win games. That has got to be fixed, though. Like, the defense got it done in Duval County on Sunday, but Brian Thomas Jr., like, they got to get that going. He's getting the targets, but he has the lowest catchable ball rate in the league, meaning Trevor is just throwing balls that he cannot catch. Like,
Yeah.
it's just physically impossible. But in a day full of walk-off victories, they were one of the teams that did it defensively, and that is a statement because that was a question coming to the season, was their defense.
Something to watch for
They
them
move up.
as well is right now the other team in that division that's shining, the Colts, they don't play them until December. And then they play them twice.
Twice in 3 weeks.
Twice. December 7th and December 28th. So twice.
in
Is that 4 weeks?
Yeah.
So that'll be really interesting to see how that plays out. Do we get to a point where one of those teams, like
Did they play last week of the season?
second to last, they get the
Okay.
Jaguars last week of the season. So it says it'll be on
Who gets the Jaguars?
Sorry, they get the Titans.
Gotcha,
Sorry, the
gotcha.
Jaguars get the Titans. It says it's on January 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, it's on Saturday or it's on Sunday.
Interesting. I didn't realize they could flex games day to day like that. But that'll be really interesting because right now, I mean, the Colts and the Jags are sitting at the same tier on the power ranking. Both teams, Colts are undefeated. I'm sure you'll get them in a minute. But they don't play each other. And right now, they are looking at the 2 teams that will be dueling for the first spot or for the division.
The Colts, I had to move them down in a win.
I mean, they had to punt, so.
They had to punt. But it was because of how impressive 2 other teams were that they got jumped.
Yeah.
And they, like I said, had to punt, but they've only punted 1 time this season. So the Colts, it's not like they played bad this weekend. It's just the 2 teams played really good this weekend, in my opinion, and they had to move down. The Commanders, any win with the backup quarterback has to be celebrated. It was a team performance on Sunday. They got a big 2 weeks of road games at the Chargers, and then there's another road game in there before they return home for the Hail Mary rematch on Monday Night Football. So a big 3 weeks for the Commanders. Jaden Daniels' health, that needs to get figured out.
Yeah.
Any updates?
He's day to day.
Yeah, so who knows?
But he was questionable
Quinn-
going into the Raiders game.
Dan Quinn said we'll know more Wednesday.
Cool.
But I think with how well Mariota played Sunday and you pick up a win, I don't think they'll play Jaden Daniels until he's like just 100% ready to go all the way back, because they just view him as a long-term asset. They're not going to risk that.
Gonna have to start looking for a state shirt in your size, then I guess.
The bet's not looking great, but just you wait till Marcus Mariota goes back to the West Coast.
True.
You know,
That is his.
drums up his Oregon days and
Yeah.
just lights y'all up.
Does he still wear the 808 face mask?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I also will say,
Because that was the thing. Like in college, he had the face mask that had it was like a 8, a 0, and an 8, because it's the area code
Gotcha.
for Hawaii.
in reference to that bet as well, Terry McLaurin's dealing with quad issues, so he also may be out
Well,
for a
okay,
couple
Khalil
weeks.
Mack hurt his elbow, so
Yeah, we don't have wide receiver 1 and QB 1.
yeah. Well,
and running back 1.
y'all have running back.
You got
one.
Bill.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
we
say
got-
you have your
He
actual.
wasn't
running back
he wasn't
one.
even running back 1 this
No,
past
they
week.
they were 3 running
Yeah.
back ones. They triple split the
Chris
carries almost
Rodriguez,
exactly.
Bill, and
The
Jeremy
snap
McNichols,
percentage was literally
who had the run of the day for the
36,
Commanders.
32, and I think 29.
They basically were like, all right, this is your drive. Next drive. Okay, Bill, this is your drive.
Yes.
All right, Jeremy, this is your drive.
are they just? Do you think they're trying to figure out like in game who is the best option?
I think it's
Part of it.
I think in their eyes, Bill is the best, but since he's a rookie, they're not going to just hand him the keys at this point in the season.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
I mean, it's similar with Marion Hampton. Like, they just don't fully trust the guy
Yeah,
yet.
but I feel like Bill has been better with the opportunities he's had than Hampton has.
He has.
Maybe. Yeah.
He's actually been productive
So it's
in
gonna-
their 2 home games.
I mean, to be fair, Jeremy McNichols had a 60-yard rush where he broke multiple tackles. Chris Rodriguez looked fine. I know it's the Raiders,
Yeah.
but like all of them played well. So
Yeah.
Enough on the Commanders. We
Yeah.
can,
Yeah, I
keep
mean
moving up the
that's got
pyramid.
that'll be one of the games we preview, right?
It has to be.
Yes.
It's got to be.
Absolutely.
We ready for tier
But
6?
We get to keep
Tier
talking
4.
about the Chargers.
Tier 4. I'm going the wrong way. Tier 4. Oh, that'll be the 4th week in a row we talk about the Chargers. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
We will take a long hiatus after, I swear. Maybe.
I don't know.
I doubt it. We'll see. The Chiefs, finally a win. As we said earlier in the show, big opportunity this week now. Ravens, Chiefs, loser is 1-3. Just going to be an insane, again, game in Kansas City. It'll be on CBS. I would assume Jim Nantz and Tony Romo will be on the call, so that'll be must-watch television. The Ravens are favored by 2.5 right now, so we may see a return of Chiefs' best bet plus 2.5. We'll see. But I may also quit betting the NFL with my best bets because
yeah,
it's just not
some
going
of
well.
the bad
I'm
beats.
3-7 on the NFL with best bets.
That's tough. Also, we had our Commanders Chargers is in 2 weeks. Chargers
Okay.
Giants is this week.
Yes, yeah.
Gives
I'm
Daniels.
not
an
talking
ex-
about Jackson Dart.
Yeah, that gives. No, so we will not be covering the Chargers 4
Huge.
weeks in a row. Continue. I just wanted to clarify because we
No,
were
good call.
mistaken.
Yeah.
That's in 2 weeks. So
Yeah, good clarification.
For the Chiefs, still no running game. The receivers are dropping passes again. That's just like becoming a problem again. Kelsey again was frustrated. This time Andy Reid pushed Kelsey off of him in the game. And as I said earlier with the Giants just handed them this game. Like, they just did not care at the end. So I can't feel impressed. So I can't move them up. But this is a power rating and a power ranking. So I would still have the Chiefs right here on this tier with these kinds of teams in a single game. I feel more confident about them than the teams below them. The Lions, they move way up, and this is one of the teams that jumped the Colts and is the reason the Colts dropped. They're the first team to really show an answer to Lamar, I think kind of in recent memory, going back to like the AFC Championship with Kansas City. Like, that's the only other time where the goal wasn't just to outscore Lamar. Like, they weren't trying to outscore Lamar. They held him down defensively. I think the biggest thing for the Lions, if I had to point out something that's not good, the run game is still concerning. Like, if you take out David Montgomery's big rush, they were only averaging 4.4 yards per carry last night, so
You want more from Gibbs, for
I
sure.
want more from Gibbs, especially. The loss of Frank Ragnow is still, it seems to be kind of a problem. I've mentioned that stat multiple times.
And even from Montgomery, his yards per carry doesn't look bad, but it's big time boosted by his 70-yard rush.
Yes.
This woke nonsense, man. Median yards per
we got
carry
into
is
it.
just crazy.
We were watching the game last night, and my brother has Montgomery in fantasy, and he was like, well, Montgomery is better than Gibbs because he averages more per carry. And I was like, I mean,
No.
he gets the benefit
But
of
better for Gibbs than Gibbs in that game.
Oh,
Not
okay.
like
I mean, my brother has some hot takes.
we'll get him on the show.
But I was like, I get like, yes, shout out him for breaking that big play, but also like you have to take a player's box score in context. And like if a player averages 5 yards per carry or like, 4 yards per carry and they're getting, 3, 6, 8, 3, 2 consistently, and then you average 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 75, like you have to take box scores contextually. And that's one thing that he wasn't doing, which is to say that other than that big play by Montgomery, there are improvements from both running backs that could be made.
Yeah, and I would say to counter that, they ran the ball well when it mattered.
Yeah.
They had 4 rushing touchdowns in the game. I just want to see it. Like, they pass the ball to get down the field, and then they run it well in the red zone. I'd like to see running game consistency throughout, because if you're going to be in shootouts or if you're going to be in spots where you have a 10-point lead in the second half, if you can't run the ball all the way down the field, then you're not going to be able to bleed the clock, and that might be a concern for comebacks going forward. But they deserve to move completely up, moved up 2 tiers to be specific. Their mojo is back. The momentum is back. Pause the coordinator conversation for a while. The Rams stay put. They're 2 blocked field goals on Sunday from being 3-0. It's just like I said, just a shake your head kind of loss. Like, I just don't think you can have bad feelings about the Rams from this game, besides the fact that, can we beat the Eagles?
Yeah.
Other than that, I thought they were great, and they really took it to Philly in their house on Sunday. Just unfortunate they couldn't protect a field goal, and they lose in that fashion. The Ravens have to move down, and my note here is, come on, man. How many losses are you going to have shooting yourself in the foot? Lamar was holding onto the ball too long on Monday night. The defense is bad again. And like I said, I just don't think you can expect another turnaround like they had last year. Moving on to Tier 3. One of the biggest jumps of the weekend, the Seattle Seahawks are on Tier 3 for me. Jack, who is the highest rated quarterback according to PFF through 3 weeks?
Samuel Darnold. I wish I knew his middle name for emphasis, but
Make one up. Go.
Samuel Christopher Darnold. Cool.
I doubt it's Christopher, but that
Well, throw your hat in the ring. I'm looking it up right now.
Samuel William Darnold.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm going to go Samuel James Darnold.
Samuel Richard Darnold.
Oh,
Dick-
Samuel Dick Darnold?
That's crazy.
No way.
I'm gonna start calling him that. Dick Darnold.
That's crazy.
Oh, dear.
But he is the highest rated quarterback through 3 weeks, and it's not like they're throwing the ball a ton. They're just running really good offense. Their offensive line is protecting Sam. He's been sacked just 3 times.
Which was
And
a
their
big
defense.
question going into the year.
Yes, the offensive line was a huge question with Seattle radio. They spent a first-round pick on Greg Zabel. The offensive line is protecting Sam, but they're also calling plays well to protect him well as well. They're a Sam Darnold fumble from being 3-0. Their defense was, insane. They tore apart the New Orleans Saints. That's really the only way you can put it on Sunday. They deserve to be in Tier 3 for me. I think the defense, along with how the offense is playing with JSN, they are a Tier 3 team for me. The Chargers stay where they are, and that's surprising, but I'll make the take for it in a second when I reveal Tier 2. Gutsy win, 3-0 in division, firm control over the division. They've been elite. Packers, embarrassing loss. They have to move down. Up 10-3 with the ball with 3 minutes left. All you have to do is not turn the ball over. Jordan Love, instead of taking the sack, forces a throw, pick, They return it all the way to the 4. I mean, the defense completely does their job against the Browns on Sunday, and they've done their job all year, and they lose that game in devastating fashion. Next week, Micah returns to Dallas, Sunday Night Football. That's the storyline is Micah Parsons, but the storyline is Jordan Love. The offense is struggling through 3 weeks. If they can't cook the Cowboys secondary on Sunday Night Football,
Alarms start going off.
Alarms start going off. The Lions now become the favorite to win that division going forward. That is the big question and storyline for me for this Sunday, not Micah's return, as much media and drama as that will get, as it should. Tier 2, Eagles. As I said, no further questions, Your Honor. Just throw the ball more. Saquon needs the help. The Bucs, 3 game-winning drives for Baker Mayfield. And this is a team. It doesn't matter who's hurt, what the momentum in the game is. They just find a way to win. Their defensive line has been excellent. They pressured Tyrod Taylor 35 times on Sunday. I revealed the stat with the Seahawks last week. They pressure the quarterback 50% of the time so far this season. That's against C.J. Stroud. That's against the Falcons and Michael Penix, and then with Tyrod Taylor last week, 50% of the time on dropbacks they pressure the quarterback, and they're just been elite defensively. And with Baker, he has the ball, he's going to go win the game. Last, we have the Bills. The game was close on Thursday, but did you ever think they were going to lose?
No.
Yeah. They've scored on 19 of 26 drives. They missed a field goal on Thursday. Otherwise, it would be 20 out of 26 drives they've scored points on. Insane. That completes the tiers, or the pyramid, I should say. The
Did
Bills
you
up at
give
the
your
top.
case for
My
Chargers?
case for the Chargers is if I would understand a case for moving them up. But right now, Eagles, Chargers, who would you pick to win? Who do you trust more in the game?
I mean, I'm going to say Chargers, but like realistically, it's
Eagles.
probably Eagles.
Bucks, Chargers, who do you trust more in the game?
I think that's pretty 50-50.
I trust the Buccaneers,
I'll give
and
it
that's
to the
why
Bucks,
I have
though.
them on the
Yeah.
tier 2. And obviously with the Bills, you trust the Bills more.
Yeah.
So that's the case for me why I wouldn't move the Chargers up. I think they're the only team, though, you can make the case to move them up to tier 2. As I said, no further questions on the Eagles and the Bucks. It doesn't matter who's hurt. They were out Tristan Wirfs again. They're going to be without Mike Evans for 3 to 4 weeks. It doesn't matter the momentum of the game. Like, the momentum completely flipped in the Jets game. Doesn't matter. They're going to go find a way to get it done, and they've done it 3 weeks in a row.
Sure.
Do you think that there's a situation where the Packers jump back up into tier 2 with a big win against the Cowboys this weekend?
Absolutely. Especially if the Bucks play the Eagles.
Yeah.
And so I think the avenue is there for one of those teams drops and the Packers jumps, or the Chargers jump. Something like that happens. I think that's completely possible.
I think that there's 2 teams that can make an argument. It's not just the Chargers. I don't see the
Sure.
Seahawks making an argument right now.
Yeah, I don't think they'll ever make an argument.
Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe, I don't know who they'll. And then I would say if the Chiefs win against the Ravens, they're not going to jump to tier 2. They could move up. I'm just trying to think of like matchups this weekend that
There's some
could
big ones for sure.
impact the power rankings.
Your biggest qualm with the pyramid? Biggest grievance?
Biggest grievance? I mean, yeah, actually, I don't have any, like, I don't know. It's just like I don't have
You don't
any
have to
huge
give one.
issue-
That's a good
I'm
thing.
not going to give issues with it. Nothing jumps out to me. I typically don't like to be nitpicky, and so unless something is like egregious, I'm not going to point it out. So I'm pretty content. Okay, the Colts getting punished for winning. They've looked very good throughout the entire season. So you've got an entire body of work for them, whereas the Lions, you've got a pretty atrocious game against the Packers.
Sure.
And so
It is a power ranking.
it is a power ranking. So it's like, who would you pick or who do you think would be favored in a matchup? So I guess you would
I don't even
choose
do it on favorability. I do it on who would I pick to win.
to win. So it's just
Not
straight up.
favorability, because the underdog wins sometimes.
Sure.
And I'm going to pick the Chiefs to beat the Ravens this weekend. And
Okay.
because I think the
So
Chiefs are better than the Ravens.
but you would pick the Chiefs to beat the Chargers, though, right?
I did week 1. I wouldn't pick them now, though,
Oh, okay.
with the way the Chargers are playing.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
It's also like next week, so you don't have Xavier Worthy, you don't have Rasheed Rice
Yeah,
in that
true.
matchup.
True.
I will get a little nitpicky.
Sure.
I honestly think I would move the Browns up a tier. They just played so well. That defense is
Raiders?
something they can hang their hats on. There's multiple options. The Texans are 0-3, and it's about the worst start to the season you could ask for.
Yeah.
Considering the expectation, they were like we're like, oh, that's a bad division. Like maybe we don't love the Texans, but like we'll kind of shoo them in to win that division. And now they're 0-3. It's not like they've played a ton of like fantastic teams. I mean, they played the Rams. That's a solid one, but it's been so bad. And then even like the Falcons, the way they lost, like I wouldn't mind punishing them so bad and dropping them into that 6th tier for the Browns.
I like the Falcons one. I don't like the Texans one.
I agree.
I think that their defense is playing just as well as the
Exactly.
Browns.
Well, they
And
just waived Gardner Johnson as well, so then maybe that'll help them.
it might help them. At the locker room, it might help them there. And I think, like their losses, they were
They
there.
played the Buccaneers, bro. They played the Buccaneers and the Rams.
In their losses,
and the Jaguars in Jacksonville.
All 3 of their
But
losses, they've been right there in the game, and
Yeah.
you actually believe that we might actually win this game.
See, that's where I'm not at. Is like I don't at this point. I'm so out on the offense. I don't really go like, oh, we might actually win this
Did you
game.
believe the Browns were going to
About to
beat
say,
the Bengals or the Packers last week?
But they actually did it,
yeah.
and so
Sure.
now I
think-
have a reason to believe.
But like if I had you, so you would pick the Browns to beat the Texans right now.
I would.
No,
Because
I-
what is the Texans' offense? I know the Browns' offense is so bad. What in the world is the Texans' offense doing against that Browns defense?
Well, I can say the exact. I think the Texans win that
CJ
game
Stroud will
7-3. The final score of that game is 7-3
CJ
Texans.
Stroud will throw 3 picks, and the Browns will get defensive stops and defensive turnovers to give short field, and the Browns will somehow limp their way down the field once or
You
twice.
do realize the Browns have scored 16 points, 17 points, and 13 points. The Texans have scored like 9, 10,
9,
and
10,
16.
and 19.
So it's like they're like it would be a 7-3 game.
Yeah.
And I would take the Browns to win it. Is
That's
what I'm saying.
crazy. That's crazy. You might get like a Joe Flacco magic play, but I think that the Texans offense is more talented. I like the QB play. I like the weapons.
Who the frick cares if it's more talented? They
well-
don't execute
well,
whatsoever.
neither
and
do the Browns.
The O-line is terrible.
Yeah, it
the
is
O-line
bad.
is terrible. We
But
got
I don't-
Quinshon Junkins in that Browns
Yeah.
backfield. Go to work. Jerry Jeudy, go to work. Joe
Yeah, but
Flacco, drag your corpse
He's
out
gonna
into
throw
the pocket
4
and go to work.
interceptions. He would throw more against. He would throw that many interceptions. He'd throw 4 interceptions against the Texans.
Miles Garrett will kill C.J. Stroud.
They're gonna put 3 guys.
C.J. Run! And that's
What
one of
about Will Anderson?
Yeah, facts.
Will Anderson actually has a higher pressure rate than Miles Garrett this year.
They're gonna put 3 guys on Miles Garrett. They're gonna put the entire left side of the offensive line on Miles
I think
Garrett.
Joe Flacco can't feel pain at this point in his career. He's taken so many hits.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant. I'm fine to just
Do
say
the
I would
Raiders.
I would
Do the
rather move the
Raiders.
Falcons down. The Raiders have a win. So, like, I get it was against the Patriots, and they've not looked good.
Their
But
offensive line has looked worse than the
I'd rather move one
Texans.
I'd rather move one of the teams down that doesn't have a win. I think I'm also just pissed at the Texans because you had clear flaws with the offense, and you just
Traded away.
refused to. You actually did the opposite of addressing them. You just
Yeah.
traded away your best tackle. Thank you, by the way, and didn't replace them. So I
Yeah.
think I'm also just frustrated with them,
And
and
then
because of the
They
expectations.
weren't aggressive really in the wide receiver room either.
No.
Like they spent draft picks on them, but the draft picks haven't hit. Jalen Noel, or Noel. I think it's Noel and
I think that's right.
Jaden Higgins have not been great. They've been using Xavier Hutchinson and Christian Kirk more often. So it's
Dig 'em.
just disappointing.
Yeah.
100%
Yeah.
offensively.
It
They've
is-
not been good enough.
It is crazy. I'm
And
gonna
the
take
running
this
back
down.
room,
So
too,
we are.
like-
Yeah. Well, who
the
would have
Mixon
thought that
injury hurts, but I think maybe you could have made some kind of move.
instead of Nick
There were
Chubb?
trades that were made with
Yeah.
Brian Robinson was traded late in training camp. The Texans could have done something similar for somebody. Tank Bigsby was traded. Like, go and find somebody. Don't rely on Nick Chubb and Woody Marks. But I think the larger part of it is the offensive line.
I feel
issues.
like because their conference or their division was perceived to be so bad, they thought they could just sit on their hands
Sure.
and still win the division. Whereas if they were in the NFC North, for example, I don't think they would have done that same thing because they would have known they wouldn't have won the games needed to make the playoffs. you're right. They have played two tough teams. I don't think losing to Jacksonville is a good look, considering you were the perceived favorite. It's not what you want.
Yeah.
So they have time to turn it around. But just historically, 0-3 hole, you're in trouble.
It's crazy how far the offense has fallen, given that Stroud's rookie year with Bobby Slowick, it was insane, and everyone was talking about the step forward they were going to take. Excuse me.
The videos have been going around of him of like how he was acting after his rookie year. Like he's going up to Caleb Williams, being like, "Stop taking so many hits after the game." Like
Yeah.
it's all in you. Like you do you, and like you're going to be great in this league. And now it's like, you may not be great in this
exactly.
league, man. Like
He
what
was
is
like
happening?
he had like the whole like mentor, like you
Yeah.
know, veteran, which like I mean, shout out to him for like
Had a fantastic rookie
yeah,
year.
he
I,
had a great rookie year, and
I was very high on him.
I mean his personality throughout all of it, I think was I mean even in that situation, like maybe you are getting a little like uppity, but also
He's
like
trying to be nice.
yeah, like what else are you supposed to say to a guy after you just beat him?
I will say his worst season is winning a playoff game and losing to the Ravens and Chiefs.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I'm not out on him yet. I
so
just am more once again frustrated that
there are 100% questions.
they can't address
Yeah.
the
It's more the team building aspect.
Yeah,
And then I
absolutely.
just threw up the teams left off again because, man, the Dolphins, it's bad all around. Is there a tier
every day
below
we are
them?
closer to death.
Is there a tier? Can we send them to the UFL or
Eventually,
something?
we'll get to a spot where Tier 7 won't exist as teams are out of contention to win the
so
Super
can we
Bowl.
put the Dolphins in that, like, out of contention?
I might make that
The
move
graveyard?
next week, especially if they lose
The
this week.
graveyard?
Yeah, can we just,
can
like,
we make
the
the
graveyard?
graveyard?
The graveyard, yeah, sure.
just the
We're almost
teams
getting to
that
Halloween
are
season.
just-
That'll
yeah,
be
Just
kind of
bad. Just
kinda
I like the
really, really
graveyard.
bad. Okay, so right now, I think the Dolphins probably the only team that would be in the graveyard. Maybe the Jets. Who are you looking
if
at?
teams in the graveyard,
Like-
I'd put the Saints and the Dolphins right now.
And just them?
I think they have kind of no hope going forward. The Titans, like you have Cam Ward, so you like there's this is like the spot for the graveyard to be like, is there a reason to even turn on my team this weekend?
Yeah. That's yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
For the Titans, yeah, Cam Ward. For the Giants, Jackson Dart now. For the Dolphins and the Saints, no. You just scoreboard watch and hope they lose.
yeah,
Why are the Jets fans turning on the TV this weekend?
I think
to watch Aaron Glenn.
they were right there in that game against the Bucks. They're right there in that game against the Steelers in Week 1, and so I think they'll turn it on. Like give Justin Fields one more chance.
Is he back from injury?
He concussion, and so he missed this week. He would more than likely play this weekend and get out of protocol.
It's at the Dolphins too, so that's
And at Dolphins on Monday Night
one of the most
Football,
winnable games.
0-3 versus 0-3. That'll be cinema. They would probably be next, though, for me.
The Jets also have just always been so bad that I think the fans are used to disappointment, and
Yeah.
like they'll still turn on the TV longer than other fans will.
After that, then I think it's the Panthers.
But I feel like you're still turning on the TV for Bryce Young.
No.
You don't
He's
think
not
so?
playing very well down the stretch.
Yeah, but
he's
like
been playing
you don't
well
think
at all.
You don't think Panthers fans are lying to themselves that maybe we get back to like the second half of last year? You think they're out?
I asked your Panthers fan.
I'll text him.
Text him that and ask him because
Yeah.
I just doubt it.
Oh,
Sure.
I'm not
Bryce
texting
Young
him right
has
now. He's
not
not going to
been
respond on
good
the show.
At
but
all through 3 weeks.
I'll shoot him a
He's been
text.
turning the ball over. Like, it's just been bad. Ted McMillan maybe is a reason you turn on the TV.
True.
They gotta have a QB to get him the ball.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston, go get Jameis Winston.
Who's their? Just toss Zach Wilson out there.
Is he the backup? No, he's back at Miami.
Yes, you're right. Who's the backup in? Sam. Is it?
It's Andy Dalton
Yeah, Andy
still.
Dalton.
If I'm not
oh
mistaken.
no! Do not throw out Andy Dalton. Yeah,
They already
don't.
tried that last year. So, no, I don't think Bryce Young is worth continuing to turn on the TV
It's Andy
for.
Dalton.
They're 1-2 though, so like they could easily be 2-2 here in a week. We'll see,
Sure.
but
I think that's it though. I think
yeah, that'll do it for the pyramid. That
Good
does
pyramid,
it for the
JP.
show. We have a massive.
Real quick before we get off, we need to discuss what games we're going to preview Thursday.
Yeah,
We
I was
typically do
gonna.
that to cap off the show.
That was kind
Yeah,
of my
sorry,
lead. We
didn't
have a
mean to-
massive show coming Thursday. In college football, I believe we are gonna cover USC at Illinois. It's a ranked matchup. I'm pretty confident we'll cover Ohio State at Washington.
I'm 100% down for that.
LSU at the School of North. Obviously, the Mississippi State game with Tennessee coming to town. And then the two nightcaps and the Oregon at Penn State Alabama at Georgia. Our fan game of the week may become like Ohio State at Washington.
Well, we don't know.
But I'm going to make a big push, and
You're gonna get your okay.
we're going to get – I think we're going to get a big game, a game that we talked about in our preseason preview. I've already thrown it there on our picks page because I think we're going to get it with our vote. We'll see. But those are the games for college football, big games this weekend. And then in the NFL, Ravens, Chiefs will be 100% covered this coming weekend. Jets, Dolphins is not on the list. I'll go ahead and tell you that much. I think scrimming, the Eagles, Bucks is 2 3-0 teams. We'll cover that. And then maybe we cover Packers, Cowboys probably as our third NFL game. But that
Shout out to this weekend in college football because you just
Gonna
listed
be
off some
insane.
bangers, and we didn't even get to Florida State at Virginia. Virginia's
that's
3-1.
Friday night.
TCU at Arizona State Friday night.
Yep.
That's a matchup of top 25 TCU, and then Arizona State, last year's Big 12 champion, a team that me and JP are rooting for. Jack doesn't really care, but I am very invested in Arizona State as a State fan.
Notre Dame at Arkansas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's it's going to be an electric weekend.
Auburn A&M.
Facts. That's a big matchup. Do we get is Houston Texas Tech this week?
No, that's next
That's
week.
next week.
Okay, I apologize.
Yeah.
Getting ahead of myself.
That'll be probably fan game of the week next week.
Yeah,
I
probably.
think that our Chromie might create 1,000 burners and have all of them comment, Houston at Texas Tech, fan game of the week.
Houston, they released some nice blue uniforms for that game.
Yeah,
Yes.
They look
is
really
it the
clean.
Oilers one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so if you don't follow us on Twitter, go follow us on Twitter. We tweet every week saying what should our fan of the game of the week be, and then we'll try and pick one from the comments. It sounds like we've got a lot of games to choose from this week, so I don't know how we'll handle that. If we'll pick 5 games and then have a 6th game of the week, we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a jam-packed weekend for sure. We will address that when we get there. But
I can sign us off at this
in the
point.
meantime,
Go ahead.
Thank y'all for watching as always. It was a fun show. I think we really enjoyed it, and thanks for tuning in. Whether live and participating in the chat or just listening after, it really means a lot. And we'll be back for y'all Thursday for a show that I'm just so excited for, as we just talked about. So we'll see y'all then. Peace.
see ya.